it's gonna be a regular thing now. The slapping will be regular, as opposed to before when the slapping was so far from your mind. Now you get slapped at least once a month. At least once a month you get slapped because you be wilding. First of all, I don't think any man should have to use those words in a sentence in his life. I don't think there's any time a guy should be like, man, I need to outmaster my woman. I need to outmanly my woman. You are not in competition with your woman to be a man. If you feel as though you are in competition with your woman to be a man, then my guy, in fact, you are not the man in your relationship. It's not you.
Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Okay, welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanGray. Today is July 14th. It is 12:29 p.m. Actually, I want to do it again.
Live from New York City, the Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
So, welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast, where... Yeah, I don't know. It still feels kind of weird. I'm not going to So, welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanGray, and the purpose of this podcast is to help, or not even to help, is for you to see us turn our life into a living. Today is July 14th. It's now 12:30 p.m. So, last week we talked about a phone call that Melissa had, and it was recorded, and we were going through the phone call. And today, we didn't get to finish it last week, so today's going to be the second part of that conversation. I also want to start off with our goals for the week and what we did last week, because I want people to know. I feel like I'm doing too much of a... I don't want to say facade.
Formal?
What is it?
Formal?
Yeah, like it's too formal. I don't like the way it sounds. I tried to add a little bit of something there, but it sounds a little bit too formal to me. So, did you do the Tuesday podcast thing?
I took the videos, but I didn't post them.
Okay, so yeah, you have to put it. I'm gonna post it from my page.
Yeah, I didn't post them.
So yeah, I'm just a little. I just gotta get into a groove a little bit. I'm not in the groove yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Want me to help with the recap from last week?
Oh, sure.
Yay. Okay. See, I asked this time because, I don't want to intrude. So, hi, guys. My name is Melissa Burnett. My Instagram handle is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn at Instagram. And Donovan's handle is DonivanGray. AnetaBurn. Yeah. And Donovan's handle is DonivanGray, DonivanGray on Instagram. So, last week was a fun week. Was last week your first official week back to like work?
Oh,
Kinda. Donovan was off for like a week, and then he worked for like 2 days, and then it started raining, and there was like a tropical storm or something like that. So Donovan's been kind of working on and off. But last week was Donovan's first week playing basketball.
This sounds like this feeling does not feel right. I don't know what that was. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing.
It's okay. You can cut all this out. I'm going to start the podcast. Alright. Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
So, welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanGray. I don't know why. What is going on? Maybe it's the DonivanGray thing. I don't know. I just feel like off, maybe a little bit. I don't know why yet, though.
All right, hey guys. So I'm Melissa. We're gonna get the Instagram handles and stuff like that in the description box and everything. So last week was an interesting week. Gonna be a little recap of what we did. What did I do last week? I had company over twice. this past week?
I know what it is. I know why it feels like this.
Why?
There's no notes. There's no direction. I think that's.
Were you gonna hop straight into those, or?
I wasn't gonna talk about them. That's what it is. There's no notes.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, that's 100% what it is. Like, that's what it is. I'm like, something feels different. I'm like, what is this? Something's different.
You want me to put the notes from last week?
No, you don't have to. I just had to realize what it was, so I can, once I understand what it is, I can figure out how to fix it. So like I said, I figured out what it is. I didn't put notes up this week because it was going to be a second half of last week. So normally on the board or on the television, I would have what I plan to talk about before I get into the actual topic. So this week I didn't do that because I felt, you know what, we're going to go over what we did last week. There isn't much really to talk about because we're going to just recap that or keep going with that. The reason today's starting off a little weird for me is because normally I would have notes on the board. And I don't have notes on the board today because today's episode is going to be me going over what happened last week. So I didn't feel like there was much different topics that I wanted to bring up today because it was just pretty much us continuing last week's conversation that Melissa had on the phone. So what I am going to go over, like I will do every week, is what our plans are for this week, what we were doing last week to get, further into our goal of actually not having to go to work, and we can actually just make money from being at home and things like that. So I invested, again, $100 every week. I'm going to put into the stock market. And today I put $100 into, I use Cash App because they have fractional investing. So you can invest as little as $1, $10. You don't have to buy the whole stock. So today I bought Walmart. I put $10 into all of these companies: Walmart, Gold, T-Mobile, Verizon, Wayfair, Visa, Shopify, PayPal, Moderna, which is a medical company, and then Spotify. And since I have put all of my money in to these stocks, I put in $300. I'm gonna just say the numbers and you'll do the math on how much I've made. So out of $300, you add $2.80, add 72 cents, add 57 cents, 53 cents, 38 cents, 38 cents, 25 cents, 21 cents, 21 cents, 18 cents, 16 cents, 16 cents, 14 cents, 14 cents, 13 cents, 12 cents, 9 cents, 1 cent. And I lost 8 cents, 10 cents, 11 cents, 14 cents, 22 cents, and 26 cents. So I'm going to do the math. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do the math. And it'll be, so if anybody's listening to it, you'll only be able to see what the math is if you go on YouTube or if you do the math in your head yourself. So there's that. And what else happened? So Melissa told me that she wants to make a shirt this week. So that's going to be probably our first merch item where you can see when she makes a shirt. I plan to go get it taken to a print shop, have them print something on it just so we can have, bless you, have some type of merch just so I can wear it on the for the videos. So taste still feels kind of weird. I think this is why it's very important to maintain and grow, because even though we grew from last week, I didn't maintain, and maintaining would be me having the notes every single time. And I have to make sure that I know now you cannot not have notes, even if it's a podcast where you already went over certain things. So I'm going to make sure, even if it's just having up to say Instagrams and talk about last week and this week, I think that's very, very important. Because like I said, now it just feels like I'm kind of floating in the water type of thing. What else do we have for today? Yeah, this is crazy. I was doing a podcast like this before with no notes. Yeah, so anything else that come up, I'll probably remember it later in the podcast. Because like I said, right now in the beginning, I don't feel into it. And then on top of that, we did start very late. We didn't do a thumbnail because of last week. We gonna use the same thumbnail. So it was just a very strange week. And I feel like this comes down to maintaining. I have to maintain what I was doing before and build on top of that. Right now, I feel like the foundation was cracked, and that's why this is kind of shaky today. So we're going to get right into the actual audio of last week. Oh, actually, can you go back to the questions? Because there are 2 questions I wanted to ask people, because I'm still going to do Donovan's questions because that is what I have on the notes. So, first question is religion a conspiracy theory? And if you think it is, why do you think so? I think a lot of people will probably say no. And I'm wondering, ask yourself, why do you say no? The second question is, if pedophiles said that they were born the way they are, having an attraction to children, should they have the same rights as homosexual and transgender people, right? Should they be on television shows? Should they be on billboards? Should they be projected into the main media or the mainstream media the way that other LGBTQ people are? Should they add a P for pedophiles? And I think that people will probably say no. And the reason I'm asking this question is because people who are gay say they were born that way. They were born liking the same sex. So if somebody who likes children said, hey, I was born liking children, it's not, I can't control it. Or I was born a man, but I feel like I should have been born a woman. Should they get the same rights? And then that's you guys. You come up with an answer for that, or honestly, leave it in the comments below, because then somebody can. I want other people. Then other people can see what other people think about that conversation, and I'm curious what people think too. So I might do a poll for that. I'm gonna do a poll for the is religion a conspiracy theory. I'm gonna do a yes or no poll. I haven't done one of those on YouTube before, so I'm gonna try that. And what's the next one? So anyway, now we're gonna get into the recording. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. This is why I fucked up. I fucked up really bad by not having notes. That was 100% on me. Another thing too that I feel like kind of caused this is because, which I'm gonna get into right now, the guy from last week told us he was going to come on the podcast today. So my intention was to have that conversation with him on the podcast. So up for like 4 days or so, he was saying that he was going to come on the podcast. So I'm like, okay, I don't really need notes because he's going to be here on the podcast. We can talk about that. So then I dropped the ball by not having notes or even having notes prepared for if he were to come. So that caused another problem. I talked to him on the phone, and that's going to be a bonus episode for this podcast where me and him had an actual phone conversation with Melissa on the phone. It was a 3-way, and we talked about him coming on the podcast, and we talked about having him. I actually might put some of that in the video on YouTube. I'm going to put the intro, or not the intro. I'm going to put some of that recorded video in the YouTube video. So we talked for about an hour and a half or something like that, and that's going to be a bonus for this. You'll probably only be able to see that if you go onto Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or wherever you stream your audio podcasts. So, but we're going to get into that more now that we have I got that out. So, all right. So right now we're going to start up where this guy was asking Melissa, or he was insinuating to Melissa that I guess I don't make any money, or I don't make a lot of money, and
you have to save because of that.
Right, and I have to save and things like that. Now, this is where I have a problem with Melissa, because I feel as though Melissa's insecure about the money and the job that I have. So because of that, she felt like she had to overcompensate by trying to tell him how much I make, so that he can understand, I guess, my life and my lifestyle.
What do you mean?
Because, I don't know, some of the stuff you said he be doing, he must have a good portion of money saved up, or he literally prioritizes those things over other things.
Okay, so he just said that I have a good amount of money saved. I must have a good amount of money saved up, or I prioritize my money over other things. Now, this is something, again, back to this false equivalency thing. He has this tendency to say a statement or to insinuate something that is not true, and then back it up with evidence or back it up with a statement that is true, right? So, according to Melissa, this guy likes to buy clothes.
Yeah.
Right? And it's
like name brand clothes, not just
right.
regular clothes.
Yeah.
Like it's his pride.
Right. And it seems that he feels as though I can't make enough money weekly So that I have to now have been saving for a long period of time to be able to do these things. I would have had to save money for months and months or years and years, or I have to sacrifice every check I have to be able to buy Melissa things or go on vacation or pay for rent. I have to be able to pretty much be struggling to go, okay, if I make $100 this week, I got to put 95 of those dollars away because I want to be able to do things. That's what he's insinuating right now.
So you gotta spend my money on clothing and like that, right?
So
Now, here you can hear Melissa is stuttering, or not stuttering. She's, what would you call that?
trying not to black. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to freeze it. And why is your face like that?
I'm listening. I disagree.
Okay. Why do you disagree?
Okay. I feel like you didn't want to say yes to that question.
No.
Okay.
Like, what? What do you mean?
I feel like because he's trying to insinuate that I don't make any money.
I know, and I fully understand what he was saying while he was saying it.
Okay. So by him saying, do I not buy any clothes? Yes, I don't buy a lot of clothes.
For you?
But it's the thing. He is saying that I don't buy a lot of clothes. He asked if I buy a lot of clothes. You didn't answer him.
I didn't answer him.
Right. I feel like that's because if you felt as though if you had answered him, you would have felt like you were losing. Because he said that I don't buy a lot of clothes. So it's like, well, he don't buy a lot of clothes, right? And you're like, because it's a long pause. It's not like you had an instant response to what he was saying. It was like we could play it back. We're going to go back
I
to.
understand what you're saying.
I'm going to play back for them. But what do you think is the reason that you...
Because that's irrelevant how much clothes you buy or whatever, and you don't buy a lot of clothes for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very big distinction, I guess, because Donovan will buy me clothes. Donovan will, it's just it's very annoying to me because that's the metric that he's using to say that you don't make a lot of money or something like that. No, that's the metric that he's using to say that you don't make a lot of money, and that's not a proper metric. It's just the amount of money. Like, I don't like that he's trying to disrespect you like this.
Listen, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But I think your response is he's negging you.
Yeah.
And if the way you're responding seems as though the negging is working.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's where the problem is. Where it's like, oh, you think that's what you think? Okay. It's like, oh, you think he doesn't buy a lot of clothes? Okay, he doesn't. Because what's going to happen is, we talked about this yesterday when Ebony came over. There has to be a point where they cross the line from insinuating something to actually saying it. Because as long as you act clueless about it, he has to feel like, damn, does she know if I'm shitting on him or not yet? I don't know if she knows I'm shitting on him. So then he'll say, yeah, I knew he didn't have any money because he don't buy clothes. And then you'll go, that's not true. Because he's guessing and going, maybe if I try, he's fishing for something. That's what he's doing. So he's like, yeah, I know people that don't really have, people that have money usually don't have clothes. People that, save money don't really go out. They don't eat. And it's like, oh, okay, you think that? He's like, yeah. You go, oh, okay. But until you tell him that it's true, he's going to keep fishing. And then he's going to say it. Then he's going to come out and directly say it to you. Yeah, your boyfriend don't have this and I'm better than him because of that. And then when that comes is when you address it. And it's what I'm talking about with my cousin, where it comes to the boundaries that girls will put up, right? And this is why I feel like you should not try and prematurely solve a problem, because I believe that kind of comes from insecurity. Wait till the problem comes up and then address it when it comes up. When the person says, damn, that shit is dark already. I feel like, why does it be dark like this? What do you think it is?
It's the sun.
You think it's not out or it's being
It's
dark?
not out. Yeah, it's cloudy.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, whatever.
And the time of day, too.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of people need to solve their problems when the problems come up. And I'm talking about when it comes to other people. When you try and solve them prematurely, I believe it shows a level of insecurity. So if Melissa was talking to him and he goes, yeah, he must save a lot of money, right? Yeah. So he must not like to buy a lot of clothes. Not really. Oh, okay, yeah, I could tell that he's broke. He's not broke. When he says the thing that's not true, you address it because then he'll say he's not broke. But I thought you said he don't like buying a lot of clothes and he saves a lot of money. It's like both those things are true and he's not broke. Just because you said those things, which are true statements, does not mean that it now means that the person is broke. And I think that's why a lot of people need to address the things when they are said. But people feel bad about saying things about themselves that are true. So if somebody comes to me and says, well, Donovan, you're a bike messenger. And I'm like, yeah. They go, oh, yeah, I could tell. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, how could you tell? Just the way that you look. And I go, well, what about me? How do I look like a bike messenger? I want them to say the thing. Well, I knew by the fact that you wear a red shirt. And I go, so you think that people who wear red shirts are bike messengers? Well, no, that's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying that by your red shirt, I'm like, okay, what about my red shirt makes you think I'm a bike messenger? Well, I mean, the way that you wear it, and I'm like, so everybody that wears a red shirt, like this is a bike messenger? That's not what I meant. It's like, well, I don't understand what you're saying. So can you please elaborate to me? Because it doesn't make any sense what I'm hearing from you. Because, like I said, they have to at some point cross that line and to where they say something that is not true. But if you have to check them on the things that are not true, as well as agree with them on the things that are true. And insecurity does not want to ever make you feel bad. The ego does not want to feel bad. So what it will do is it'll try and make you feel good all the time. Even though what they are saying may be true, as far as him saying I save money or I don't like to buy clothes. Those statements may be true, but that does not mean that I don't have any money or that I don't make enough money. Anything you want to say?
I don't like it.
Oh, okay. So 30 minutes and 11 seconds. We're running it back to right before Melissa took the big pause. Actually, we're going to go back a little bit further to 30:07.
So he doesn't really spend much money on clothing like that, right?
So.
The way he was talking, I thought he was like an engineer. Who did that mad bread?
So according to what he just said was the way that she was talking, I must have mad bread because I'm an engineer, right? Just let him think. Just okay. That's what you think? Sure. It's a compliment to me, but sure. So he is trying to say that he thought I was an engineer, which means he was trying to say how much money I make, and that it's possibly like I thought engineers because they make a lot of money, they even make more money than me. So now he's saying that he thinks that because I'm a bike messenger, I don't make more money than him. I don't know how much money he makes. If I had to assume, I probably do make more than him. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But because I'm not an engineer, he's like, okay, whew. I thought that for a second he made more money than me because he's an engineer.
Mind you, the thing that got me tight about that part, because I'm asking him, I'm like, he's like, oh, I overestimated how much he made. I ain't tell you how much he made. How you overestimated a figure that wasn't given to you? Like what? That's how I'm getting annoyed. That's why I asked him, okay, so how much did you think he made? Oh no, engineers made mad money. I'm like, okay, but what's the number though? Like, what number do you think what number did you think he made before? What number do you think he made now? Like, you're not giving me no figures. You're just saying, oh, he don't make no more. Like, I'm like, what do you? That's how I was upset.
And the reason I believe, as he never does, the reason I believe he does not give a figure is because when you give a hard figure, it now allows Melissa to go, oh, you thought that was a lot of money? Oh, no, he makes more money than that. That's not a lot of money. And when he gives that number, he'll probably get something close to the amount of money that he makes. But he doesn't want to expose himself because if he exposes himself, it allows him to feel vulnerable and get hurt when Melissa will tell him how much money I actually make.
So before they become in the profession after like 7 years.
Yeah, I understand. I just wanted to get like an idea of like how much he thought he was making.
I don't know. You could be a workaholic or you can work minimum hours.
He said I could be a workaholic. I could work what? a lot of hours, which again, he's pretty much saying that there's no way I can make a lot of money being bike messenger unless I am never in the house, unless I'm always working. There's no way I can make any money being a bike messenger. That's what he's trying to allude to.
Do you have a number in mind? Like a number that I could work with?
I'm not saying nothing bad about him. He's doing.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm trying to get an understanding of like how much money you thought he made.
Now, this is the problem with what I have with Melissa's doing. She wants to tell him how much money I'm making. That's what Melissa wants to do. She's like, how much money do you think he's making? I want to know how much you think so I can tell you that that's not how much he makes. And I think that's, again, this comes from insecurity within Melissa, where she needs to just relax and go, okay, you think that? Fine. If somebody thinks that I don't make a lot of money, that is what they think. Because at the end of the day, for somebody to believe that I don't make a lot of money or that I'm below them financially, and then for their life to actually show that we are not in the same place financially, I think that's the most important thing. What somebody says and how they look is not as important as to what is actually the truth and what's actually going on.
Maybe that I thought he made, or that I think he makes now that I know.
Now, this is Melissa's chance to just answer the question. But Melissa does not answer the question. Because she wants to tell him how much money I make. So instead of letting him expose himself, she goes, you know what? I want to shit on you for making me feel bad. So I'm going to, I'm not going to answer that question the way you want me to answer that question. Which again, if she had answered the question by just saying, yeah, how much before and after? Just whatever you think. What you want? He would have been like, well, like $400 or something, $600 a week, something like that, right? That's probably what he would have said.
Okay.
How much money I think he makes now that you told me he's a delivery person?
Nah, it's fine.
It's fine. And he didn't ask her how much money I make either.
He didn't.
He didn't say how much money does he make. He never said. He just assumed I didn't make a lot. Melissa decided, well, you know what? It's fine. I'm going to tell you anyways. As you heard her say, it's fine. What's fine? He didn't ask. He didn't say I don't want to know. He didn't say I do want to know. Anything like that. Melissa just assumed, you know what? I'm going to tell him anyways.
Whatchamacallit? He makes probably anywhere between $200 to $400 a day. And he typically works 5 to 6 days a week. So, yeah, he, how do I explain it? He's not really a frugal person. So he likes to buy nice things. How do I explain it?
As you hear right now, Melissa's doing a lot of validating. She is trying, this is what is happening right now. She is trying to validate to him without coming off as if she's validating. So that's why you hear a lot of pauses and ums, because those are not real and She knows what she wants to say, but she doesn't want to say it where it comes off as he makes this, that, he ain't frugal, fuck out of here. But that energy would not be needed because he never asked a question and he never actually said to her, I don't think he makes any money. He never said to her, I think he makes this amount of money. He didn't give any figures. He just made her feel bad about it. So she's responding to how he made her feel.
If it's like a big purchase, like a vacation or something like that, he'll plan it out. So he's not, I wouldn't say frugal would be the right word.
No,
but like conscious.
By the way, I do think I'm frugal. So I don't know where Melissa, I guess for some reason that word may have made her annoyed. Is that how you feel?
I don't see Donovan as frugal.
Oh, okay. I don't like to spend money like that. I will spend money. I
feel like frugal is going out of your way to not spend money.
I mean, I do my finances every Monday to make sure
I feel like you're like I said, I think you're conscious of what you're spending. I think you have a plan with what you're spending, but I don't think that makes you frugal. I think frugal is literally like cutting a coupon every single time you go to the grocery store, or opting out of something to save $1. I think that's frugal. Like penny pinching is what I consider to be frugal. I don't think you're frugal.
You think a billionaire could be frugal?
A billionaire could be frugal. Like I said, if you don't want to tip because he want to save the tip money if he wants to account, like not account for, but save every single dollar that he can, yeah, that'll be a frugal billionaire, sure.
Okay.
Actually, I actually read a book on frugal billionaires.
Oh.
So there's a lot of people that become millionaires or billionaires by being frugal. Like that's definitely a thing.
I don't think that's a thing.
Huh?
I don't think becoming a billionaire is a thing.
Not a billionaire.
Yeah.
Millionaire.
Okay.
Definitely
Yeah.
a lot of millionaires by being frugal, like saving majority of their checks, not spending anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, like they won't go on vacation, they won't buy a nice car, they won't buy a nice shirt, they won't buy anything
Mm-hmm.
that would be like they'd be like, what? I could get that at Walmart. Like I don't think you're frugal.
I think for me personally, bro, look how I can't even see my face on the screen no more. I think for me personally, I don't like to spend money on myself, and I don't like to spend money on clothes. I don't even like to say on myself. I don't really like to spend money on my image. I think that's more so what it is. I will buy things that I think I need for the house, whether it be furniture, whether it be food that I think is healthy. I might spend money on my bike, which is some people call expensive, because I feel like it makes me more money. It's an investment. That's what we really need. That's what we need for sure.
Oh, sorry. The reflective, the umbrella lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, add that to the list.
Yeah, I'll put it right on this side though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we might invest in getting an umbrella for the room because it's kind of dark in here.
And an overhead light.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And light for the wall. We're gonna get all the lights. But the reason why I
I
said
feel like
that
I can see your face. I can't see my face.
because you're darker than me, though.
I guess that makes sense, right?
I reflect light more.
Cause I can't look half my face. Can't even see that shit. Oh well, either way. And because I have more hair on my face too.
I'm like this.
I feel like from Batman, he had half a face, but
Yeah, the reason why I say I disagree is because I think that with Donovan saying that, because I feel like when people say that they don't like spending money on themselves, they also talk about the amount of money that they spend on themselves too, like when they spend on themselves. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when I think of someone that says they don't spend a lot of money on clothing for themselves and stuff like that, I think you don't do it frequently, but when he buys stuff, he buys like quality stuff that'll last him. So he won't buy himself a $50 sneakers and call it a day. Donovan gets freaking New Balances that cost over $200, and like Prada jacket, stuff like that when he buys clothes. So that's why it's kind of like I don't really 100% agree with what you're saying, because I know people that would just get their stuff from Walmart, Target, even like Zara or something like that. And yeah, I feel like you buy more expensive items but less frequently.
I disagree because I don't think I buy that many expensive items. I don't, not when it comes to clothes. That Prada jacket I had for
that's a
over
long
8
ass
years.
time. It's definitely infrequent.
And it still wasn't expensive in my opinion.
And that's another thing too, because what I consider, my bar is very low for expensive.
Yeah, I'm like $1,200 is like it's four figures, but it's not like a $8,000 jacket or a $12,000 jacket.
I can't afford a $12,000 jacket.
I'm just saying, to me, those are things that I would see. Like if I got like a $5,000 jacket, or if I had like 6 $1,200 jackets, I feel like that. And then I wore a Prada jacket every day to work all the time. And other than that, I don't really buy clothes like that. But like I said, I will spend the money on things that I think will make me more money, like my bike, my bag for work, maybe a laptop, an apartment. Those are things that I feel like I'll spend money on. But you're not going to see me going to the store to buy $500 Gucci slippers to wear around my house, to wear with Louis Vuitton boxers. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll buy New Balance underwear and be fine. I'm not gonna go. That doesn't make sense to me. So I won't do those things. But yeah. So
I was trying to help. I was gonna tell you something so you could try to maybe even get some more money.
So now he is going to give Melissa advice on something that help me make more money, because I don't make enough money.
What was that?
The two things that I got into is flipping sneakers, but it's not like on a level of a sneakerhead that he has to do it. But like, for example, there's gonna be this off-white Jordan 4 coming out, right? And to be able to get a chance at it, you just have to download the Nike sneakers app, and just both of y'all could try off of it, and possibly when y'all could buy it for retail, like $200, and then sell it.
Another thing that I think I'm gonna start doing too, when people say right to me, like, cause he keeps saying right in between his sentences, and I think I should have asked some. I should have, going forward, all I'm gonna do is be like, I can hear you. If I can't hear you, I will let you know that I can't hear you, but assume that I heard you.
I feel like that's aggressive. I listen. That's what you want to say. I think you shouldn't say anything. I think you should say because I think the words right and yeah and okay are the ones that make them feel like what they're saying is true. Or I think part of what you were saying was going the right track where you're like, right. He's like, I hear what you're saying. Like, I hear you. I don't agree with what you're saying, but I hear you.
Okay.
It's like yeah. He's like, right. I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. So they'll be like, what part don't you agree with? And then when they ask the question, now you can unleash the Melissas, or at least the Kraken, once they ask the question. Once they ask you, what part is not right? Well, now that you've asked, I will now tell you why you're, not very intelligent. Why are you suggesting to flip sneakers to make $400 or $800?
Who told you that I need what?
Yeah, and top of that, who told you we need to make more money? I don't know where you got that from. That was something that we were looking forward to doing by flipping sneakers. So.
But that's my fault. So.
For like, who knows how much it might go up to? It might go up to 800, 1,500, 2,000, whatever it goes up to. And you can reuse that money and then go buy another sneaker that's heavily hyped and just try it. It's like almost like when you buy one lottery ticket to get a chance for the lottery, but the chance that you win this first lottery is much better. So it's just an extra way to bring income. And sports cards. Does he watch sports?
He's heavily into basketball.
Oh yeah, so he would love this. So one of my favorite players used to be Kobe, and then it was Derrick Rose, and now my favorite player is Luka Doncic. He's on the Mavericks. So what happened is, let's say you have to buy the rookie cards, because the rookie cards is like the most sought after ones. So what you do is basically, let's say he likes a rookie that just came into the league, or he likes a player that's in the league, he could just search up the card and buy one of the rookie cards. Like, I bought a rookie card for Luka Doncic 2-3 months ago for $400, and now it's worth about $700. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, and that's only 3 months after, as he keeps putting up crazy numbers, and as he wins championships or win like accolades like MVP or All-Star, the price will increase even more. So imagine I would have bought, let's say, $4,000 worth of his cars 3 months ago. It would be worth $7,000 now. That's way more than you would get from the stock market and investing, or even sneakers itself, if they're not heavily hyped. And since he's into basketball, he may have fun with it. So what he could do is probably just buy like some cheaper cars just to get into it a little bit and actually see the value in it. You know his favorite player?
No.
You love basketball, but you don't know his favorite player? You don't have one?
I don't know who his favorite player is.
You know his favorite team?
Nah. Nope.
What? Okay. Alright. Well, hopefully it's not the Knicks. Well, maybe it's probably the Lakers. Is he a LeBron fan?
I think I answered the question wrong. Because you asked me if he's into sports. Like, he's into playing basketball heavily. I don't think he's really into, like, the teams and stuff.
Oh, I thought you said he was into basketball and watching most people,
What I was saying was, I don't think you should have. I was even hearing it over and over again. I thought you were gonna say I already answered your question, which is he plays basketball. I don't know his favorite player or his favorite team, and it's not because what you're about to say is not necessarily true. But I'm gonna let it keep playing.
into basketball and watching. Most people have
35-56.
I mean, now when you play basketball, that was my high school.
I'm gonna rewind it so we can hear that part again. 35-50.
Oh, I thought you said he was into basketball and watching. Most people at our age now when we play basketball, that was my high school. And I'm still working to play basketball.
Nah, he's not like that. Like he's really into basketball. Like he like paid for like a basketball tournaments. Like he wants to do tournaments and stuff like that. So he's not so much into like actually watching it, but more so playing it.
Wait, he said he does like all three of them.
Okay, so this is what the issue I have with what Melissa said. She said that I'm not into watching basketball. I enjoy watching basketball. I don't watch basketball because I go to work. So I'm like, I'd rather be at work working than watching basketball. If it's the playoffs, you disagree?
I've never really seen you like. I'm just basing off of what I've seen from you. So it's like I feel like you might keep up with the stats. I don't know. Do you have a favorite basketball player?
Kind of. I mean, sort of.
See, that's like, bruh, that's basically what I'm saying.
But you can't. It's not that simple. That's why I'm like, for him to ask that question, I don't think that real basketball players really have a favorite basketball player. Because it's like every year they're different players. Every year there are players that are doing different things that you may like, or who change, or who are not playing anymore, and things like that. So to say who my favorite basketball player is kind of like, if I said Kobe and he's not around, it's kind of like, all right. But somebody that I know about basketball. So for me, I like Kawhi Leonard. He's one of my favorite basketball players, right? I like Kawhi Leonard. Right now, a new player I like is Ja Morant. I like him. I like Kyrie Irving. So when it comes to playing basketball, right, there are different kinds of basketball players. What Melissa's talking about when she said people that play basketball is people that she say, oh, when they say I'm going to the park to play basketball. And it's like, those are not basketball players. Those are people who just have a basketball, hang out with their friends at the park and play basketball. And it's very different from people who have actually been in tournaments, who have traveled for basketball, who have had to be around coaches, who study basketball, who've gone to camps, who have been on multiple teams, had multiple games in a day, who have tournaments back-to-back in the summer. Those are basketball players. People who have to go out, they buy equipment for basketball. They actually train on basketball. Like, what are you doing today? I got basketball practice. I got to practice with this team, practice with that team. I got to travel for basketball. Yeah. Those are basketball players to me.
Only person I know like that is Christian.
So those are people I consider basketball players. So let me call Xavier. Can you pass me my phone? Okay. So I'm going to call him. I'm going to see what he says. Because like I said, I don't think that basketball player, he played college basketball. I don't think college basketball players have a favorite basketball player or a favorite team.
Hello?
Yo, you can hear me? It's Donovan.
What's up?
Yo, I got a question. So I'm on a podcast right now, right? And I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite basketball player?
Yeah, everybody does.
Who is that?
Right now it's Russell Westbrook.
Okay. So you said right now, right?
Yeah.
If I asked you that last year, would he might be different?
It's still the same last year.
So he had the same basketball. He had the same favorite basketball player for how long?
Since OKC.
Okay.
Since LeBron left back to Cleveland, I just stopped fucking with him, and then just, I was more into Russ.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking this question is because one of Melissa's somebody that likes her was trying to say that guys our age don't play basketball anymore, right? And he was saying that that's only something that people do in high school. After high school, once you get a job, you can't play basketball anymore. So Then he was asking her who my favorite basketball player is. And I'm like, I don't really have a favorite basketball player. I have people that I like in basketball. And I was saying that I don't think that basketball players have a person that they like, oh, this is my favorite basketball player. I'm like, right now, for me, it's Kawhi Leonard. But I'm like, 4 years, maybe about
like 4 years ago, yeah, different. Like
right,
somebody else.
right. It'd be somebody different. So I'm like, I like different players, but I don't necessarily have like a when he came in the league as a rookie year, it was Kawhi Leonard. I knew from San Diego State that was the guy. So it wasn't like that. So I'm like,
Like that now.
right. So that's what I was saying. I don't think it's like that. And I think that the problem is that the people that he thinks and that she thinks play basketball are people who just go, who are like, hey man, I'm going to the park to play basketball today. And it's like, no, there are different types of basketball players. There are people who actually play basketball, who have played in college, people who have went to play in different tournaments, who travel for basketball. And then there's the dude who got off of work at Home Depot who went to the park with his friends to play basketball.
Yeah, that's really true.
Right, so I was saying that. But I wanted to ask somebody that plays basketball, that really plays basketball, who their favorite basketball player was. So
Like right now, Russ, before, like, I mean, I already know his weaknesses and all that stuff, so I'm not really like big on him. I know where he stands, but like it changes like every like 4 or 5 years, probably changes. Like, you know, you have somebody that you just like.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I like his team, da da da. So it's basically like that. Like for me, the next upcoming guy, I would say Jason Tatum. Somebody else who I like to watch.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And
I mean, it's not nothing crazy.
and how often do you say you watch basketball now? Before the coronavirus?
So not really much. I mean, is it when I get the time too? Honestly,
That's the same thing.
so probably like if it's TNT on and I'm home, oh shit, let me watch this game, something like that. It's not like I'm gonna sit here like, oh, I gotta watch this game tonight. Like, nah,
Yeah, same thing I
not
said.
necessarily that.
Do you have a favorite basketball team?
Nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
Right, so that's what I'm like, I don't really have that. I'm like, I know, if you ask me questions about it, I can answer your questions, but I don't have like I love the Lakers, man. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. I don't have that.
I can't do that.
So now, like you said too, if I'm working, and if I have time to get home and watch a playoff game, I think it's going to be a good game to watch, I'll watch it. If it's a new game, like when Zion first played LeBron, I'm like, I want to see how this goes. I might come home a little early to see that game. But after the first game, I'm not about to be rushing home every day for when the Pelicans are playing the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm not doing that.
Nah, it's not even worth all that. Everybody knows like this regular season games don't even count really much to them anyway. So
Right.
I'm not gonna rush home just watch some BS. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. So
But you just see the highlights.
right, exactly. So she felt like maybe I'm not into basketball that much. She said maybe I like to play basketball more than watch it because I don't watch it as much. And I'm like, it's not that I don't like watching basketball. It's I don't have the time to watch it. If I had free time to just watch basketball, I would probably watch more games than I do now. But I'm at work, I'm doing things, and on top of it, the games are not good. Playoff though, you can catch me watching a playoff game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I want to know.
Alright, copy.
All right, later.
Alright, later.
Oh, that was Xavier's take on that. 36-23.
Mostly does Uber Eats and caviar. But if it's slow, he'll do all 3. But if it's not, he'll just pretty much stick to one app.
I fuck around and accidentally doing that myself, but I think about buying a car myself. And then stacking up my money for gifts using the home.
He paid for a basketball tournaments. He wants to do tournaments and stuff like that.
36-14 right now.
So he's not so much into actually watching it, but more so playing it.
Wait, he said he Uber Eats and Grubhub? He does all 3 of them?
Mostly does Uber Eats and caviar. But if it's slow, he'll do all 3. But if it's not, he'll just pretty much stick to one app.
I fuck around and accidentally doing that myself, but I think about buying a car myself. And then stacking up my money for gifts using the home. So who knows, is it killer? You got them?
Not really. have money that I owe, but I don't have to make any payments. Yeah, but it's not. It's probably like maybe like 10,000.
That's nothing I can pay. I work with another year. But mine is free. And I'm in school right now, so it's going up. It's going about 8,000 like 5 years ago. Nursing is mad expensive. Unless you go to like the school that you gotta go to school forever just to become a nurse. And because it's cheap, and you gotta wait a minute. When you try to go the fast route like I did, it costs you more. But I guess you end up making more in the long run too. If you could start being a nurse earlier. It's just a discipline. I didn't have discipline in years ago, but now I have it to pay it off with. Yeah, I'm not looking to that. I honestly thought that he wasn't making much, but I remember when I worked with movies and stuff, I don't be giving any tip either because this is what I did. I ended up buying about $500 worth of Uber credit that I thought I was going to use on actual Ubers.
$500 worth of Uber credit that he thought he was going to use on Uber, but he couldn't use it on Uber. So now he is talking about how I guess it transferred to money. So because of that, he doesn't think I make a lot of money. He's going to explain why he thinks that I did not make or do not make money from Uber.
But then when you compare the Uber prices, go to work would be like $50, and Lyft would be like $32. I started taking Lyft, and then my Uber credit was sitting there, so I just used it to order food. But I didn't want to. If you order something for like $15, come up to like $25, $24 after you're done with all the fees, delivery fee, processing fee, shipping and handling, taxes, and whatever. So by the time you get to the tip, I wasn't even tip. So I don't understand how people get paid with no tip and like $1 or $2 processing fee.
So the way that it works is that the companies have a minimum amount that they'll pay you for an order. So they'll start you off with an order that's like $3, and let's say that person gives you a $5 tip, that gets you to $8. The minimum amount that you earn an order is going to be $9.50. So they'll bump up the rest. They'll give you like a $1.50 or whatever to make sure that you get to $9.50 per order. Or if
Wait. You get $9.50 per order.
Yeah.
So why are you not delivering?
I did for a little while, but he has an electric bike. So he has an electric bike, and his electric bike could go up to like 65 miles an hour. So
This nigga is thinking. So we don't even have car expenses. He just got electric bike.
yeah, so he doesn't have to pay for gas. He doesn't like
Yeah,
only thing
that's
he pays
something
for maintenance.
Electric bikes. Oh, so it's not even like a gas. Okay.
Nah, he charges the battery, and that's pretty much all he has to do. So he doesn't have to wait like for traffic or anything like that. And his bike goes up to 65 miles an hour, so he can go pretty fast.
Information that's not even needed. I don't. If you just be wanting to go, sometimes you got to know. It's 40 laws of power. Which law is that? Know when you hit your mark. I'm gonna look that up. So for people who could go and do their research on this,
He almost choked talking about. Wait, what? He made what? How much an order? Yeah. Excuse me.
law number 4. I think this is law number 47 in the 48 laws of power.
I regret nothing.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Listen, as long as you learn from it. Here.
I learned from it, but I don't regret it.
This is law 47. It says, I'm reading. Do not go past the mark you aim for. In victory, learn when to stop. So if you want to go over that, just, you know, I read all of that. I feel like that's a lot.
Okay.
So that's why he like. And he's been doing it for a couple of years. So the longer that you've been doing it, the more orders they'll give you. So when I was doing it, I couldn't make nearly as much money as he makes because I haven't been doing it for that long, and I will walk because I don't have a bike and I don't have a car, so it's like it didn't make sense for me to do it.
And you would prioritize, they would prioritize them over you, so you get less orders overall.
Yeah.
$9 per order, that's a lot of money when you start to incorporate the fact that you can do a couple orders at a time.
Yeah, and then
I see
if
people with
somebody,
big ass book bags that mad orders full at once.
yeah, and then that's just the minimum amount. So let's say that the order, they said that they're gonna pay you $4 to take this order, and it's a big ass order, and they give you like a $20 tip. They don't take the money and make it lower to make it $9.50. Like you get to keep that whole $20-something tip. So
And this nigga, he had no student loans too, right?
I think he paid them off already.
That nigga different. He's thinking. A lot of my other friends, they struggling right now. I can't understand how we can't even go on a trip to Miami properly. If you can't go to Miami, like, and that's the most cheapest trip, where can you go? You heard?
Yeah. I don't know. So. Huh?
I think that it's like, I think it's so funny because first you saying that, oh, you know, engineers make more than me, you know, he a bike messenger, blah, blah, blah. Then he gonna say what he said. He asked me how much I have in student loans. I don't have that much money in student loans. Oh, you know, I could pay that off in a year. Right? Now he talking about, yeah, you know, me and my friends can't even take a proper trip to Miami. We can't even afford that. I'm like, but you could afford all these other things, right? You make more money.
42.
I used to think that it was even like $3-4 per thing. And I thought they took a percentage of the tip too or something. Because when you're on YouTube and you look into stuff like this, niggas is always complaining. Like, don't do Google, don't do this. Or watch this video before you even think about this. And they always complain about whatever they get. But maybe they overestimating how much you're supposed to get. Or they're doing something wrong. But then again, they probably using a card too. So when you incorporate the card, maintenance and fees and tickets, fee passenger, it adds up to a lot more than whatever is happening with him. Right?
Okay, I'm gonna put the AirPods in.
I wonder if the chickpeas making that shit.
Maybe. I be thinking it's the pot pie. Stuff like that, but you didn't have any pot pie, did you?
I had a little bit, but not enough to be doing all this to me. And that has chickpea flour in it.
43.12.
I forgot people actually use a bike because people be lying about using a bike. They be seeing you on a bike and then you see them outside in a car.
I mean, he works in Manhattan, so it like makes more sense for him to be on a bike.
Oh, yeah, that's probably where you get the bulk of the tips.
Mhm.
Because you travel from Queens to Manhattan just to work.
Yeah, we live near the railroad, so it takes like 30 minutes to get to the city.
Oh.
Yeah. So it everything pretty much works out.
There was a very long pause there, and I think that there's another thing Melissa has a problem with is letting somebody drown when they are, or giving them the rope to hang themselves. because she bails them out because she feels uncomfortable. I think she needs to get better with feeling uncomfortable when people are not talking. People are just as anxious as you are in the conversation. So if you're sitting there and you're not saying anything, they're gonna just start talking because they feel like they're uncomfortable. So they're gonna ask you a question. He will try and neg her or make her feel bad, or he'll just start talking about his own life, and he'll put his foot in his mouth the more that he talks. For the simple fact that he is only trying to make himself look good. So if he's trying to make himself look good to her, he's gonna keep trying to find things that he feels as though would look good to Melissa. So the minute that he runs out of those things, he's gonna say to her, right, yeah. And if she doesn't say anything, she'll just be quiet. Are you still there? I'm still here. Oh, did you hear what I said? I heard you. And that's what happens. And I think people need to understand these tactics for this reason. There are people like him who will try and make you feel bad or, use emotional warfare to try and win the conversation. And these are tactics that you can use to I guess, to defeat those kind of emotional tactics. Let him drown himself. He wants to just be talking, especially if the conversation does not come from a good place. There's no reason for you to be courteous. There is no reason for you to try and be respectful of his anything. I don't think you should be overly disrespectful, but I don't think you have to help the conversation go along when he's clearly trying to make you feel bad in this conversation. 4401.
So you at home now?
Yeah.
You're not going back to work?
No. There was this day that I was going in and I was really frustrated because I'm like, it really didn't make sense for me to go in at that point. I was only trying to work 20 hours a week. I was working on Amazon. I was only trying to work 20 hours a week because I spend most of my time working on the businesses, so that's YouTube and all of that stuff. So, they did this thing where they wanted people to either work full-time or they're only going to give you 5-hour shifts per day. And I'm like, that makes no sense for me to do because by the time I get to work and come home after that 5-hour shift, I already spent half of my check on my way there. And I was like having this conversation with him on the phone and he was just like, why don't you just stop working there? And I'm like, okay. So he's pretty much paying for everything right now. But it's a loan. So we're keeping track of it.
It's my insecurity about the fact that Donovan's paying for everything because I don't want to come off as not being able to take care of myself. So that is Melissa's insecurity peeking through. Is that what you're about to say?
Couldn't have said it better.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Melissa's insecurity to kind of detach myself from what I'm saying. That is my insecurity peeking through.
Oh, I caught that? I didn't even catch that.
I'm paying him back eventually, but...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Because he knows how I am. I don't feel comfortable having someone pay for everything for me. So, and I'm not staying home to not do anything. I stay home and I'm working on the businesses and stuff. So.
You crazy.
It's.
You got it good and you get talking about, I don't feel bad. You better save up all your money and whatever and work on the business and everything. But you're trying to tell me it's a self-imposed loan that if you didn't say nothing, you would have been fine with it?
Yeah, pretty much.
You fucking die.
That's not true. It's not a self-imposed loan. What happened was, this is how it ended up happening for people who are, probably don't know or will ask later. I asked Melissa how she felt about this because I know how it would come across as in this conversation here if I'm paying for everything, because people will then come to her and say things like, oh, you don't do nothing, oh, he pays for everything, you don't have your whatever other derogatory terms they can come up with for her not paying whatever she's paying for. So I said, look, a better way for it would be and this is a problem with me that I don't think I should have done in the first place. It just comes back to the whole premature situation, and I don't know if it's insecurity for me. I think it's more so comes from my toxic trait of trying to help people. Because I don't think that Melissa would have offered to pay me back all the money if I didn't bring that suggestion. I think that it would have just been like that. So I'm like, okay, how about this? How about you write down the money that you use, that I give you, and that you borrow, and you pay it back when you have the money. That way, she would feel more comfortable when these conversations do come up, so she can say it's a loan. So like I said, I think that comes from my toxic trait of trying to overextend myself to people and try to look out for people. So it's kind of hard because it comes down to, she's my girlfriend and I want her to feel comfortable in situations, but does that take away from her fire for wanting to do certain things? That's my opinion on that. You have anything you want to say?
Because I'm thinking about it. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have offered to pay it back. But I think it makes more sense that I do. Mm-hmm. Because I do that, like, money in my head is providing. So I don't want to feel worthless. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel like I have no purpose or nothing that I'm attributing to us. I definitely don't feel like that now because, like, you know, I'm doing stuff. But it's hard for me to explain that to other people, I feel like.
I think that it's hard for Melissa to quantify that because money is literally a number. So it's easy for somebody to say, I bought this or I pay for that because it's a number. I think Melissa is still in the building stage, I would say. So I think she's past a lot of the thinking stage, which is good, and she's in the building stage right now. But still, in those two stages, people don't see what you do. If you have an idea, nobody sees the idea. If you start painting, if you paint, 3 strokes, nobody knows what you're painting until you're finished painting. Then they go, oh my God, that's amazing. And I don't think that Melissa's gotten to that point where she has enough tangible thing that somebody can point at and say, okay, here is what Melissa has done. I can see it because I'm here and I'm with her building it. So I know what's happening. I know her plans. I know what the goal is to happen. I know what the plan is. So I'm like, it's easy for me to know and see what's happening. But somebody who might talk to her once a month, twice a week, or once every other week doesn't know, where she's putting bricks at or how she's building this or what the goal is for that. They don't know that. And I think when that happens, and this comes down to Melissa, she has to be okay with herself to say, I know that what I'm building is going to be great when it's done, but I have to be able to deal with the criticism now until it's actually finished being built. But I don't think that trying to avoid the pain of somebody making fun of you while you're building is the best way to go about it. I think it's better to be present in it and go, okay, this is where I am in my life right now, and that is what it is. If somebody feels like where I'm at in my life right now is below them, that's fine. That's not for me to tell them that they shouldn't feel like that. If they want to challenge me on it, then fine, we can have that conversation, but I shouldn't be trying to defend myself on it because that is where I'm at. I don't have anything that I can say. I don't have enough things that I can say that would make you feel like what I'm doing is enough to somebody else. But if Melissa said, well, everything that Donovan wears, I made. Everything that I wear, I made. All the food that we have, I make all the food that we make. We have money coming in from, well, do you see how I look? Do you see my body? Do you see how my hair is? Do you see all of these things that I have? So you may see where she's at now, and like I said, because it's not tangible and it's not done yet, I don't think people understand that there's a building to get there. But when she gets to that point, then when somebody does have this conversation with her and they go, hey, what are you doing for work? Donna pays all the bills, and it's like, yeah. She'll say it probably like that, like, yeah. They're like, what do you do? And she'll list it off. Well, I run the clothing line, I run the music side, I run the food. I actually have a meeting today. I have to go bring this food over to this college. I have to go and, do this food plan for this person and that person and whatever the case might be. And at that point, it might even be the conversation might even be something like, he pays a lot of the bills, not everything. I pay, this much. He pays way more than I do, but I do pay something. But that's when it becomes more tangible. And like I said, you just keep building where it gets to a point. And like I said, that's how I kind of built my life. It gets to a point where when somebody asks you a legitimate question, they go, "Where do you live?" "Oh, I live down on like 42nd Street. "What? What do you mean live for? Yeah, man. I just bought this shit. How much you paying rent?" "It's like $8,500 a month or something like that. I'm not sure, but that's where I'm at. Like that's literally what I'm doing. I pay $8,500 a month in rent. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not underestimating. I'm not trying to undervalue myself. This is what I pay. But like I said in the last podcast, you have to say where you are no matter where you're at in your life, because that's where you are. You did the work to get to that point. So wherever you were before, you were like, "Yo, I can't wait until I have enough money to be able to, pay my own phone bill." And it's like, "Oh, that's great, but that's $150 a month." But then you got past that. So now you're like, "Okay, I can't wait till I have enough money to pay my own rent." You did that. Now you get a car, you get a better place, but you have to be striving to something. And a lot of people like to disrespect other people who don't have the tangible things to show for it. And the problem I have with that is that I feel more people are not confident in where they are in their life, and they feel like, "Oh, I need to be over there because they're making me feel bad about this." So 45, 46, 56.
I'm sure you don't see this. I'm sure you don't feel nothing.
It's not really about him.
You're gonna have to pay for
You
it
just call me a nice guy.
Huh?
I said if you was to leave, you'd have to pay for it anyway.
That's an insult. Go on.
Call you a nice guy's insult?
Yes.
Explain that.
Because the same way he called his friend a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about, because nice guy equates to being a pushover, a walkover, that you can just do whatever. You can come to me and be like, "Donovan, I'm doing this. Give me the money. I'm going to do this." That's what nice guy equates. That's why when he said his friend, he said it like this. "Yeah, my friend's a nice guy. I always tell him you got to be more honest." And it's like, nice guy equates to not standing up for yourself, lying, not being honest, like just being scared. That's what nice guy equates to. He's thinking I'm like a sugar daddy, or what's the other word they use for that? A trick. That's what I think I would be called, a trick. I'm tricking. I think that's a term. Well, I'm just spending money on girls. I think that's what term nice guy is not a good term. If he said good guy, that's different. The term nice guy is an insult.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back 15 seconds to 45:56.
Pretty much.
You bugging the guy who is a nice guy. I'm sure you don't see this. I'm sure you don't feel nothing.
It's not really about him.
You're gonna have to pay for it anyway.
Huh?
I said if you was to leave, you'd have to pay for it anyway.
Yeah, but like it's not really about him. It'll change kind of like how I would interact with him, because if somebody's paying for everything for you, it's kind of like what you said, where now I have to, like, am I gonna have to ask you every time I want to buy something? What if you think that what I'm trying to buy right now doesn't make sense, or you don't feel like paying for that? So if it's a loan, it doesn't really matter what I'm buying or what I'm spending on, because I'm gonna pay it back to you when I have money. So, and the whole reason, the whole goal for this is for us to make a good amount of money. So
it's not true.
It's just kind of like,
I'm not giving you money to buy anything and everything.
I mean, I don't really want to buy anything crazy.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But it sounds to me that you're wording it as if you can buy whatever you want. And I'm like, that isn't necessarily the case. I feel like within reason, you can buy anything.
I'm not going to buy a Maserati or anything like that.
I think that's how it comes off. Like, if you went out and say, I want to buy this new Macaws jacket, I might be like, Amazon, can y'all put a pause on my car real quick? I think there's some fraud going on. Where was this purchase at? Melissa, where are you? You in Soho? Is it Soho, sir? 10 minutes ago? Melissa, how long ago were you at the store? 10 minutes? Yeah, sir, that wasn't me. Can you refund that and prosecute if the person that if you see them on the street?
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, damn, if we break up, Donovan gonna sue me for all the money.
Yes. I'll be like, Melissa, you got this long ass bill. Here we hear you.
He gonna sue me for all the money.
Everything. Listen, I be in court. I do this. Catch me on Judge Mathis. I have an episode on Judge Mathis from. Funny enough, me and Xavier had one on Judge Mathis. Like, I think when I was probably 20, 19 or 20, I was on Judge Mathis.
Do you think the mic heard that?
We'll find out.
That was Donovan.
4704.
It helps with my peace of mind more than anything else because I don't feel like I'm a burden on him. And then on top of that, when the time comes for me to pay him back and I have the money to pay him back, like that, I'm gonna throw it at him. There's a feeling of kind of like of earning something. I guess kind of like a serotonin kind of feeling that you'll get, like when you like really earn something that I'm looking forward to. So that's pretty much how I see it.
I don't know, it sounds weird because a lot of women don't think like that.
Yeah. I don't really like the idea of someone. It's weird because yeah, I like someone taking care of me, but I also need to be able to take care of myself.
That's lit. If I were moving right now, someone paying everything.
What kind of man says that?
That way I can even complain. You know what I'm saying? If I want to buy something, you're like, nah, like fuck it. I'm living here for free. And I have to save my money for this work.
You might as well
start.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you what's funny about that. You know what he just pretty much said?
You could buy him for money.
If I live with my mom, I would just save my money.
What?
He said if I live with a person that's paying all the bills for me and they tell me I can't buy stuff, that's fine with me. I'm just going to stay in the house and save my money. I don't care if they tell me I can't buy things. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a mom.
A mom?
That's what I get from that. Do you disagree?
Oh. So he thinks whoever he's with is going to be his mom.
It sounds like, he's saying if he had somebody like me to buy things, he said he would want a girl like that who's going to buy things for him. He's like, that'd be lit. Mm-hmm. He said, I don't care if she tell me I can't buy stuff. That's fine. I would just stay in the house and save my money.
Oh. Okay, like a parent would say that to you. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what's good with my stuff.
48-33.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how everything is right now.
Yeah, that's really fun.
I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how everything is right now.
Probably bored as hell with the quarantine because y'all can't really do much either. Or y'all be still finding stuff to do.
We kind of keep busy because, like I said,
Okay.
Are you trying to say a relationship is boring?
Not really. It doesn't really matter the words that he's using. He's just trying to make you feel bad. He's trying to make you say like, we have a bad. He's trying to make you say anything bad about me, about the relationship, anything. It doesn't matter. The words are irrelevant. It's just. So I bet y'all got green Tupperware, don't y'all? Because like another term that people will do. Mm-hmm. Somebody go, oh, you're one of those people. Right? Makes you go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? But when you do that, they got you. Right? Or at least if you answer it like you're offended, they got you. So for that, what he just did was, it's for people who are listening too, when somebody tries to offend you, answer the question the way they asked the question. So he asked, see, y'all don't do nothing for quarantine, right? No. That's it. Just no. Or, I'll give you an example. That's it. Keep it short. Don't overtalk. Because they when they start asking dumb questions like this, or when they try to make you feel bad, whenever you start over talking, they win. You want to say as least amount as possible. Just answer the question and leave it alone and let them keep talking.
I'll be working on YouTube and fitness and stuff, hair and stuff. And then he works every day. And he also, it's also the podcast. So he'll edit the podcast and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, we're never really bored or not have anything to do. And then, we had vacation.
He's always at work. You can't get tired of him.
Huh?
Or since he's always at work, you can't really get tired of each other.
Yeah.
So it's just like you miss him when you come home.
Yeah, pretty much. And then,
I will give that answer an F. Because I don't think that if I worked less, that Melissa would get tired of me. But by her saying yes, she has now confirmed to him that if we were together more often, she would be tired of me.
I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about that's what he was saying. It's just kind of like, what did he say? I get to miss you. I mean, yeah, I get to miss you when you're at work.
I'm running back. I don't remember if I don't think he said that. I feel like he said you don't get tired of him, but I'm running back.
He said both.
49-31. We're gonna see how it came up and what order and what context it came up in.
Yeah, he tripped me up.
49-31.
we had
Since he's
vacation.
always at work, you can't get tired of him.
Huh?
Since he's always at work, you can't really get tired of each other.
Yeah.
So it's just like you miss him when you come home.
He did say that first.
Yeah, pretty much. And then,
I do be getting tired of you sometimes. You be getting tired of me.
since we had stuff planned,
But I shouldn't have.
like vacations and stuff, but because of the whole coronavirus thing, that kind of put it.
I don't know if I would say you get tired of me or vice versa.
We get annoyed.
Yeah, I think people annoy people. And I don't think that me going to work would fix that. Because there are people who go to work for 40 plus hours a week, come home, and still hate the person they come home to. I think there are days if I might come in the house, Melissa might do something I don't like. I might be in the house for 3 days. Melissa might be like, damn, Donovan, I love you so much. I can't believe you're this amazing. And I'm like, of course. How else would I be?
That's not what happened. Donovan be here. I'd be like, go to work. Go to work. Go away. Why are you here? Go away. Go to work.
So, and honestly, this is my thing too, I think, when it comes to that. Jesus. I don't think that, I wouldn't say tired of. Annoyed with, I feel like is what happens. It's just like, yo, you annoying me right now. Like, you did some shit I don't like. You did this little thing. You did that little thing. You asked me too many questions today. I don't like that.
You're acting weird.
Right. Like, you acted weird, Melissa. So, but yeah. So we're at 49-57.
Dent and stuff. So, yeah. But that's also kind of work too, because we're gonna be vlogging during it. So it's just like that.
You know when they're gonna open back up the city? Because I think they said Monday they're gonna open up barbershops and stuff like that. But I don't know exactly when everything will be open back up. Phase 4.
I heard that they're opening like a lot of stuff up on Monday, like restaurants you can eat outside and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that's on Monday. Are you having a baby?
Yeah, Mom.
But it's the kind of corny shit I be talking about. She said, are you having a baby? And the man said, am I? Now, anybody listening, I'm just curious. What would be, before I press play, I'm going to let you guys think of a reason that somebody would ask you, are you having a baby? And your response would be, am I? And girls listening, how would you feel if the father of your child was asked, is he having a child? And he responded with, am I? I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna give y'all 20 seconds to think. I'm gonna put the timer on 20 seconds. And give me a second. And 20-second timer's on. Time's up. That was a little bit more than 20 seconds. I'm gonna press play at 50:56.
Are you?
I don't know. You tell me.
Bruh.
Hello?
Hello?
Let me say
Yes,
hello.
I don't know. You tell me. Am I?
And then he repeated it again. She gone, cause Melissa's confused at this point. She's like, what? So he thought he was smooth the first time he said it, so he repeated it again. He said, I don't know, you tell me. Silence. Tried to be smooth, right? Melissa's like, what the fuck are you talking about in her head, right? So she didn't respond. He goes, hello? She's like, hello? So he feels like she didn't hear her. She didn't hear him. That's what she feels like. So he says it again. I don't know. You tell me. Right? Now, pressing play at 51:13.
I don't know. That's why I asked.
No, I'm saying I am.
No, I'm playing.
So like,
You didn't believe it when you saw it?
I mean, I don't know. You haven't said anything about it, so that's why. Like, I wondered, like, how that is, and like everything
Well,
that's going to
I'm not a father yet, so I don't know how it is. But yeah, the due date is July 4th.
Oh, congratulations!
I just want to point this out because I didn't say this the first time I heard this. Melissa said, are you having a kid? And his first, he said, I'm not a father yet. Is that right?
I said, oh, something. Who's
I feel
playing
like
back?
I feel like you wanted to say, okay, yeah, 51:35.
Like how that is, and like everything that's going to
I'm not a father yet.
Oh, because I'm saying, what I'm saying here is that we've been on the phone this whole time. At this point, it's 51 minutes into the phone call, and he hasn't mentioned that at all. He hasn't mentioned the fact that he's having a child. So I'm like, I'm wondering, like, how that's going and everything. And he's like, well, I'm not a father yet. So I'm like,
Yeah, right.
there's mad shit that goes on before pregnancy. There's mad.
I would.
I mean, before childbirth, like during pregnancy.
Like I said, as a bonus for this podcast, you're gonna hear when me and him actually get on the phone and have a conversation. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I don't know how it is. But yeah, the due date is July 4th.
Oh, congratulations!
I have no son, so I'm excited because that's what I want.
So you're not planning to live with the mother? Like, are y'all together?
Yeah, we're still together. I live with my mom. She lives with her mom. My mom lives in a house.
Okay.
It's gonna be good because I'm gonna always be in a way so long as you don't act like one of the other people, the crazy people who don't want their father to see their child because they're bitter or something like that. But I want to move in with all the stuff I've been seeing, the relationship not working out. From my mom to my uncle to her family to everyone around me. It doesn't work out. So I don't know, men have more to lose nowadays. But that's what I've been educated on. So if I was moving with her, pay the down payment for the house, pay for everything,
he's saying.
The only thing that could make things not work is if we make changes. And then I don't know stuff. Y'all moving together, but your situation seems like not that typical situation. So, I don't know. You give me a little bit of hope though that maybe I should move in. And I maybe not moving out like that, but you just a bit more. Here. Are you planning on having kids anytime soon?
No. Well, maybe in the next 5 years, but definitely
Oh,
not
he's
like
asking why we're not married.
Mm.
He's asking for what we want.
You got time off because she took off work because of COVID, but technically at the same time it was because she was pregnant and she should work out, so she would have got work for the whole thing. But when for her not to work for them because of COVID, she was able to just relax herself a bit, which was good.
I don't know what he's saying.
Having kids are really late in life.
not late in life, but
No way, you don't know that. How old are you again?
22.
And your birthday's in October.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're kind of old now. You're kind of old now. I thought you were like 20. I'm playing. You're still young.
She's 22 and she's kind of old now.
Yeah, you have friends that have kids already.
If I have friends that have kids, uh, not like close friends. No. I've seen a lot of people on my like Facebook and stuff that have kids.
See, that's my thing. I always wonder how the dynamics change when you have kids. To where your friends don't look like you like how they used to anymore.
Yeah.
I always wonder how that works.
You know what he said? I didn't hear him.
He said he was wondering. He asked me if I had any friends that have kids. I said no. He said he was asking because he wonders how the dynamic changes when you have kids.
Yeah, I feel like he said something after that. Let me run that back. What's the timestamp?
I've seen a lot of people on my like Facebook and stuff that have kids.
See, that's my thing. I always wonder how the dynamics change when you have kids. To where your friends don't look like you like how they used to anymore.
Yeah.
I always wonder how that works.
I don't really have. Yeah, I don't have any friends that have kids. Right now.
I was saying when you saw it, you didn't believe me when I said it.
I mean, I thought you did. It's just that like you didn't bring up during the conversation, and I feel like that might have to do with.
See, this is what I have a problem with too, with as far as with Melissa, how she's talking. When she fumbles over her words like that, it makes her seem like she's unsure of what she wants to say. And I think that he is trying to insinuate that Melissa did not want him to have a baby with somebody else. So when she fumbles over her words like that, I think it makes him feel like he's right about what he's saying because now she seems flustered. So that's what I was going to say. What do you?
I don't really want I'm flustered because I'm not trying to. It's a problem that I have. I be trying to be respectful to everybody, even the people that disrespect me. So I'm not trying to make you feel any type of way. And the whole purpose of you being on the phone with me is to make me feel some type of way.
What do you think? But what were you thinking about saying that you felt would have made him feel type of way?
I have to hear it back. 56:37.
I was saying when you saw it, you didn't believe me when I said it.
I mean, I thought you did. It's just that like you didn't bring up during the conversation, and I feel like that might have to do with what you decide to do or where you decide to.
I think I was trying to not say. I was trying to not to call him out without calling him out on it. And I think if I'm gonna do something, I should just do it. Can't half-ass do it.
Yeah.
Because I knew what I was doing when I asked from the moment I asked him, like, so you having a kid?
Mm-hmm.
I said just like that too, mad loud, like, so you with child?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'm like, yeah, so like, you gonna stay with like, what you doing with your children and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what was I trying to ask him though? Oh, he brought it up. He brought it up again. He's like, oh, you didn't believe me when I said it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not my thing. I'm like, bro, how we on the phone for this whole time and you don't mention your child once?
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. But I didn't want to say exactly how I said it here. But that's most definitely how I should have said it because that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I think if you would have said it that way, it wouldn't have come out. Because I think what happens is instead of talking at a 50, which is where you should be talking, you're talking at a 3. Or like whatever. Let's say you're talking at a 10, right? Instead of a 50. And I think that you think if I add more, if I say what I want to say, I'll be going to like 100. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no, you're not even at 50 yet. Like you probably get to a 50 when you say what you're thinking. And then when you're at 50, the more you say, it becomes more disrespectful. If you're already saying why did you not tell me this? Why would you wait till now to tell me you have a kid? Why are we on the phone for however long, an hour? You're telling me that you miss me, that you have feelings for me, you're trying to give me all this advice, and you have not told me once you have a kid. But that's regular. Now, if you had said, hey, you're a terrible parent, that's where you going above 50.
See, that's not even in my realm
of
saying
that's what I'm saying. Right. So I'm like, that's above 50. You're not even thinking about saying that. You just like, why didn't you say this earlier in the conversation? That's a normal question to ask. So I think that would bring you back to neutral instead of being submissive. 56.
Move to and stuff like that, so that's why I asked.
I don't know. I really want to have a whole family unit open. We could afford to do it. But I don't know how it will turn out because when you see so many examples around you of things working out, why do you feel like you will be the exception to the rule? Is my question. So I don't feel myself as above anything, or I don't think that anything ever happens to me. I don't think that. I wish I saw more examples of things working out, more examples of families staying together to find like open things that working out the way it should.
Why do you think things don't work out?
Mainly because of the women.
Okay, what did the women do?
Oh, was I supposed to not respond like that? No, I mean like in his head that was not supposed to be my response.
The reason I said pause it is because I'm sure I heard it right. The reason that he feels like these relationships do not work out is because of the women.
Yes.
Right? So I think that it's funny because you will hear what he says when me and him have a conversation on the phone. And you will hear my response to him as to why I believe his relationships will not work out. Which I say again will be a bonus episode to this podcast.
And I also think that I feel like the reason why I asked now, why I just asked him, is because I feel like he wanted me to be like, no, fuck out of here. It's not the women's fault. It's the men's fault. Y'all doing this. Y'all doing that. And I'm like, okay, what do the women do? Mm-hmm. So.
Women are women, so they're emotional. So then you don't really know what you're getting on a day-to-day or even minute-to-minute basis. Like they'll feel one way this minute, then another way the next minute. And so, no matter how consistent you stay, when you deal with someone who's been consistent, they can throw things off. most of these situations are happening. Domestic violence is a thing too. Um, but if you talk to any woman, they would say that it's never their fault.
What was that?
And
I think that's so funny. So
I would say that
he said, if you talk to any woman, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm a woman.
If you think as a woman,
to be honest,
59, 25.
they're partly to blame because statistically, women are more abusive than men. You know that.
I mean, pretty. Yeah.
Huh?
More verbally abusive.
Yeah, because women. Okay, so like something that I kind of learned dealing with my boyfriend is that like females say reckless shit, me included, because we don't have to think about someone punching us in the face. So when guys kind of like when guys get together or play basketball or something like that, y'all kind of have like an understanding like, okay, if I say something the wrong way or if I look at someone the wrong way, this could potentially end up in a fight. Girls don't have to think like that. So that's the reason why girls be talking reckless, because they don't expect someone to like put hands on them. But guys have to go through life knowing that if I say some reckless shit, then I have to either back it up or like.
That's a very good point. I'm glad you said that. But now what happens is, what if the dynamic changes and you put hands on her one time, and now the understanding becomes, if you talk reckless, that you put hands on her, and she continues to just talk reckless. What do you say about that one?
That probably. Well, first of all, I think that if you're put in a position where you put hands on someone, or if you're telling someone what your boundaries are and they're not respecting it, then you shouldn't be with them because that's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, based on your knowledge and what you just said, you said that they don't have to worry about someone putting hands on them. What if someone puts hands on them?
You got like 59.
And now that you don't understand what comes, if I say something right, hands will be put on me, but yet they still talk reckless.
That sounds like that.
We had to start from 1 hour and 6 seconds.
And then, I wanted to pause it because I just wanted to put it out there that any guy that puts their hand on a woman is a bitch. So.
Yes, I agree. I think that I'm gonna say his question was, what happens if a guy, I'm gonna let it play and then I'm gonna pause it when he asks the question.
Kind of like when guys get together or play basketball or something like that, y'all kind of have like an understanding like, okay, if I say something the wrong way or if I look at someone the wrong way, this could potentially end up in a fight. Girls don't have to think like that. So that's the reason why girls be talking reckless, because they don't expect someone to like put hands on them. But guys have to go through life knowing that if I say some reckless shit, then I have to either back it up or like.
That's a very good point. I'm glad you said that. But now what happens is, what if the dynamic changes and you put hands on her one time, and now the understanding becomes, if you talk reckless, that you put hands on her, and she continues to just talk reckless. What do you say about that one?
Well, I don't. What?
Because I'm just like, I don't know why his head went to there. Like, okay, but what if I put my...
I think you gotta address the question. You gotta break down the question and ask yourself, what is he asking you?
I don't really know what he's asking me.
What if the dynamic changes and you put hands on her one time, and now the understanding becomes, if you talk reckless, that you put hands on her, and she continues to just talk reckless. What do you say about that one?
So you cannot be emotional with the response. What would you say about that?
I cannot be emotional. I can't be emotional with the response. You put hands on her, and she continues to be reckless. I mean, honestly, you shouldn't be with that person.
Which person?
Both people shouldn't be with each other because there's no respect there. So I feel like if that's a situation where either you feel the need to put your hands on a female, or you do go through putting your hands on a female, that should be an indication that you should not be in that relationship, or you should leave. And at being the female, if a man put hands on you or something like that happens, that should be an indication that you should also leave. Like, y'all should mutually break up at that point. Just both of y'all just cut ties and go about your way.
Okay. So why do you think that happens?
I think that happens because men, like I said, they see the world a bit differently than females do. So if I'm thinking that I'm just saying words to you, so words don't hurt. Like, I'm not expecting my words coming from me to hurt a guy in that way. Now, it will hurt, and if the guy decides to, however he processes him being hurt, that's what will lead to that type of situation where you may have, I don't know, this is however he processes whatever it is he feels that you did or whatever it is that you say. That's how a guy may react. A weak guy, like a bitch ass guy. So I'm just put that out there as well. Did I answer your question?
Sort of.
Ask me one more time.
He's pretty much saying, because I said that women are not expecting consequences when they say reckless stuff.
That don't have to be the consequence.
Hold on, he's saying that's what I said, right? So now he's saying, okay, well, what happens when what happens when a guy does hit a girl and she continues to talk reckless? Then what?
But
that's the question. That's the question.
That's the question. Then you, like I said, then you leave. You separate yourself. You shouldn't have put. You have to assess yourself and figure out why what just happened being a guy. I feel like that's the first thing you need to do, because there's no reason for you to put hands on another person ever, really. Like, there's always something internal that you can fix within yourself, unless they put hands on you. But if it's words or something like that, I don't feel like there's ever a reason to really do that. Because someone's saying some reckless shit, they might have to get their ass beat. Like, that's just for them to learn. But if you hit her and she's still talking reckless,
not that day, but like later, and she continues to still be disrespectful.
You shouldn't be with her for that to happen again. Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, so this is what I was going to say about it. I think that there are different circumstances or different things at play. So if you hit a girl and you stay with her and she continues to disrespect you, that means that when you hit her out of being a bitch. You didn't hit her out of being dominant. There's a difference. So you felt like you were losing, so you punched her in the face or you slapped her, right? And a woman will recognize that, because you will then exude bitch energy later again. So she will continue to still test you because she feels like, well, you hit me because you was being a bitch, not because, you was like upset or because you was trying to dominate me. You were just being a bitch, so you hit me because you're stronger than me. That doesn't make you a man. So what she'll do is she'll continue to disrespect you. However, I believe that she will then try to actually fight you back physically, whether it be with a knife, whether it be with a weapon or something. She'll try and fight you back because she's like, well, yeah, okay, you want to hit me? I'll shoot you, or I'll stab you, or I'll hit you over the head with a baseball bat, because I feel like you're actually a bitch. Now, on the other side of that, I think what will happen is if a guy hits a girl and the girl stays and if the guy hits the girl and the girl stays, that means that hold on, that's not what I'm trying to say. If the guy hits the girl and she doesn't leave, I think she has a low self-esteem. That's the first thing, right? And then if he's hitting her, if he hit her once and she continues to do that again, yeah, I don't see how that happens. I don't see how a dominant guy who really hit her out of dominance would continue to deal with that kind of disrespect. I don't think that would happen. I just don't see that happening. I don't see how a guy who made her feel scared when she got hit would be like, damn, I'm going to keep doing that again. Very unlikely I could see that happening. So his question to me would be, look, what?
What would be hitting a girl out of dominance?
Make her feel scared, like really scaring her, like punching her like she's a guy.
Oh.
Like, yo, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like what? I'm gonna punch you in the, like I'm going to fuck you up.
That shouldn't happen.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So if she stays with him after that, she's probably very scared. Now she may be toxic and wanted that to be displayed.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that if a girl stays after that type of like situation, nah, I don't understand. Say it one more time.
Okay, if a girl will stay with a guy after she gets hit, I think a majority of girls will stay with a guy after he hits her. I think that it is showing his weak side of doing that, but I think it's harder to detect if it's weak depending on how he hit her. Okay.
So if you hit me and I feel like I'm about to die, that's when I'll leave. Oh, my life is at stake.
I don't think you leaving only comes from your confidence as a woman. I don't think that women are most likely to leave when they get hit by a guy. I just don't think that will happen.
Why?
Because I feel like innately women test you for that reason. And it's one of the steps on the extreme end of the spectrum that how a guy would pass a test.
Because I'm trying to think of how that applies.
What do you mean?
Because innately, I want to be like, no, fuck out of here. A guy said, no, women will leave and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, nah, I could see what you're saying. Because there was times when I would put my hands on them. It ain't really work out too well for me.
That's the other thing too. I also think it comes down to it's multiple things that come into it. So I think I left something out too. What the aftermath of the hit is also very important as to whether or not the woman will stay. So, and this is what comes to about being a bitch. What a bitch would do. A bitch type of guy would hit the girl and then start apologizing for it. And oh my god, I didn't even do that. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Or he'll call her later and be like, yo, I don't know what I was doing. Now she feels like, oh shit, you was wrong. So I'm right. So okay, if I come back to you, in my brain, all I'm gonna be thinking about is how I'm gonna get you back. If you hit me again, I'm gonna stab you or I'm gonna tase you or something. Now the dominant guy will punch the girl in the face and then tell her, bitch, why did you not have the cookies on the table like you told me you was gonna have cookies on the table? So now it's her fault. So now she feels like it's her fault that she got punched, as opposed to he's the problem as to why she was hit in the first place. And I think that is very important because the one that gets hit and the guy blames it on her, she's likely to stay because she feels like it's her fault. The guy that hits the girl and then acts like it's his fault, she's likely to try and react to what he did because she feels like, well, yeah, I didn't do anything. This is your fault. The fuck is wrong with you? I'm gonna stab you because you're doing too much. And I think that's how you would. That's other than being hit. I think that's the difference in showing which guy's a dominant person or not is the reaction after they actually hit the person.
Like I said, any guy that hits a woman is a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I don't think that. I hope that women who get hit by a guy once leave. There are zero. There is no reasons why you should stay with a guy after he hits you. What?
I can see why women feel like they have to stay depending on how entangled is the proper word, I feel like, and how close you are to the person That's when, because once you have kids, joint finances and all that stuff, that's when they feel like, and typically in those situations, in order for a guy to really be putting hands on you like that and nobody, and for you to stay with him, he would have to kind of go through a set of steps to separate you from your family, separate you from your friends, do this and that, and really like put in your head like his dominance of you. And in doing so, you would also need to have kind of like a child with him, live in the same house. Either his name or your name is in the house, so you can't leave, but he's not gonna leave. And also an emotional dependency on him. Like it's so, and like you have to be so broken already for that to like be something that's going on consistently. So in their head, it's really like that's leaving isn't an option. They have no family to go to, no friends to go to, and the person tainted the images of those people in your head.
Well, listen, coming from me, a guy, I do not believe there is any reason for you to stay with a guy hitting you. Is it hard to leave? Yes. However, I believe that if you stay, there will be more violence. Things will only get worse because all you have done is move that line in the sand. And the more you move that line, the worse it's going to get. So if you started off with him verbally assaulting you, or you started off with him spitting on you, or him, throwing food at you, it starts off like that. And then it gets to, okay, he slapped you in the face. Now that you let him slap you in the face, it's going to be a regular thing now. The slapping will be regular, as opposed to before when the slapping was so far from your mind. Now you get slapped at least once a month. At least once a month you get slapped because you be wilding. And after that, now because a regular upsetting moment for him results in you getting slapped, when he gets angry, it has to be more than a slap to let you know this is different than when I slap you. So now I have to punch you so that you understand that when I slap you, that's because the food is cold. But when I punch you, that's because you was talking to a guy. So now the line has been moved again. So now whenever you talk to a guy, you know I'm gonna punch you in the face, in the stomach. I'm gonna punch you in the stomach whenever you talk to a guy. So now you know if you talk to a guy, you get punched in the stomach. And then next thing you know, I found you maybe texting a guy, or I found you talking bad about me. Now I gotta punch you in the face, because now you need to know that is way worse than talking to a guy. But the only way I can demonstrate that to you is if I initiate a punishment or give you a punishment that is worse than the slap, because slap is only for cold food. Like slapping is not that bad. It's only for cold foods when I slap you. And then I only punch you in the stomach when you talk to another guy. That's bad, but that's not that bad. But let me find out you bad mouthing me or you getting punched in the face. So, and how did we get here? How did we get to punching in the face when at first it started off with, damn, you an ugly bitch? We started off with that. We didn't start off with, I'm punching you in the face. We started off with, you an ugly bitch. And it just escalated to getting punched in the face. And I believe that the end of this is always going to be some type of death or some type of crazy abuse to where you almost are going to be killed. What happened? Oh. Yeah. I was getting kind of comfortable. So that's what I think as far as domestic violence. And I actually had a podcast. I want to talk about that, which is why I think women should leave, but I also think women want to get hit. So very deep conversation. Facts.
And if you are in a domestic violence situation, the domestic violence website. It's
DonivanGray on Instagram and Twitter. You can contact them and get my information or their information or my information, and we could talk about it, because I would like to hear about these situations, because I feel like I have the answer to these things. First thing is first, I feel like leaving is like the best option, but it also comes down to how crazy the person is.
Yeah.
So I'd want to know like I wonder how the hotline helps somebody when the person could possibly get killed. Like, do they tell them to leave anyways?
They will help. First, they'll help you with your confidence to leave.
But you're still leaving though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you would have to leave. Cause like I know, funny. Okay, so I was doing a research thing in college about domestic violence, and I went on a domestic violence website to like kind of research the stuff, and I found this to be very interesting. I didn't even think about how crazy this is. It's something at the bottom said like, something at the bottom popped up and said, is the abuser on their way home or something like that, or if you have to leave suddenly, click this button. right? So I'm like, okay, if I have to leave suddenly, what does that mean? So I clicked the button, and what it did was it opened up enough tabs for if someone were to check your history just now, it wouldn't say that you were on a domestic violence website. So I'm like, I never even thought about that as being a safety measure for them to have. And it's like the weather, it had like cooking pages and stuff like that, like things that women would do. So I thought that was very interesting for them to even have that as a measure. So I don't even know what else they have in place to really help a woman like move from that toxic fatal situation to.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that. I'm curious. What did domestic hotline tell you to do if a guy could possibly kill you, and you're afraid to leave because he might kill you? That's a good thing. I'm gonna look into that. So we're at 1 hour and 53 seconds.
Probably. Well, first of all, I think that if you're put in a position where you put hands on someone, or if you're telling someone what your boundaries are and they're not respecting it, then you shouldn't be with them because that's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying based on your knowledge and what you just said, you said that they don't have to worry about someone putting hands on them. What if someone puts hands on them and now they don't understand the problems if I say something right? Hands will be put on me, but yet they still talk reckless.
That sounds like that. If that's a situation, then that most likely means that that the female has like some problems that they have to work through. So that, how do I explain it?
Well,
There's nothing that like.
They sound very logical.
Yeah. Because it's like there's nothing that you could really do at that point being the other person because the problem isn't you, the problem is them. And they probably, if someone is acting like that, they're probably traumatized some way or have some trauma that they need to deal with because they take whatever you say that might hurt them, they take it and be like, okay, I'm going to hurt you more than you hurt me now. And then the thing with guys is hurt for y'all manifests physically. So that's why a lot of guys, like that's how a lot of domestic violence situations happen. Where it's like the female, she's thinking that she's just saying words and she doesn't see you physically getting hurt by the words that she's saying. So she's probably not going to expect someone to put hands on them. And even when somebody does put hands on them, at that point, that's just how they like react, or that's just how they see the world. So they would literally have to kind of like reset themselves, like become introspective and actively work on that before they could fix that.
That makes sense. That's not the reason I wouldn't want to go to prison for domestic violence. That's not the thing. Because the more time you spend around a person that has a tendency to have a reckless mode, the more likely you are to get frustrated. And then when you're frustrated, you're not yourself. And when you're not yourself, you're liable to do things that you're not proud of.
That sounds like he's a domestic violence abuser. That sounds crazy.
I'm curious what I said next.
You probably said yeah.
It's a possibility.
I'm going with yeah for 300, Alex.
Situation like that, the majority of the time, you can never escape it. If you're upset, you can't just go outside. I mean, that's another argument about where you're going to see. And then come back.
I don't know what kind of women he deals. And again, we had a conversation, so it's not about the women he deals with. It's the content that he chooses to watch that makes him believe these things, because he never lived with a woman. So he where does he get this reference from of a woman telling him, asking him where he's going? He goes outside, other than his mother. There's no other person that he has lived with to have this experience with.
That's not the version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I feel like people show you who they are all the time. Like, you can't really hide who you are. It comes out in your actions. It comes out in your facial expressions and stuff like that. So I think before you move in with someone, you'll be able to kind of see the issues that they have before you even get into that space of moving in with them. So the way that my boyfriend is, it's kind of like when he's in a talking phase with a girl, if she does something that he doesn't like, or like let's say that he says, example, let's say that he says that he doesn't like me saying SMD, right? If I decide to say it anyway, and it's like in a talking phase, if I decide to say it anyway, then he'll probably like hang up the phone or something like that. Something to show that this is something that he really doesn't like. And then if the person does it again, it's like, okay, now I'm not talking to you no more. And like that's that. Because if someone is disrespecting you or if someone is crossing over your boundary and doing something that you really don't like, you have to be prepared to be like, okay, this person is making me feel not myself, so I'm gonna have to let them go. So I think that for people to move in with each other, they can't have that type of dynamic. Like that will not work. I feel like there has to be certain things that you know that if this person does, you let them know that, listen, if you do this thing, I'm gonna take it as you blatantly disrespecting me and letting me know that you don't give a fuck about me. Pretty much. And if they do that thing, then like you pretty much could have the right to cut them off at that point. So I think that that's a big part of it. And I think that people tend to overlook things that they know that they don't fuck with and allow themselves to get into that kind of toxic environment.
I don't know. I think the thing is, with me, I like black women, and I try to stick to black women. But black women have a tendency to be a certain way. So in order for you to find someone different, you either go inside your race.
To be what?
A certain way.
My theory is.
That?
Hmm?
Oh, I heard the very deep.
Yeah, no, my theory is just that. Again, like I said, you guys will hear a lot of nonsense when we have our own phone call. I think that black women are more likely to call him on his shit. So because of that, he is less likely to deal with them because they'll question, like, why are you doing that? Because they may have been around certain kinds of people and they go, you're not like that. Why are you acting like this? Why? I'm not your mother. I'm not your this. I don't know. Funny enough, I'm curious. I wonder how many Hispanic people, like fully Hispanic people, say things like, I'm not your mother. Because I feel like they're more likely to be like your mother. And they're okay with that. I don't know. You know any Spanish women you have as friends?
Only Spanish women I do at Starbucks.
Or who?
At Starbucks.
I don't know who's Spanish in my phone. I can ask that too. That I still kind of have that relationship with. I'm gonna press play. She's half black. Yeah. Okay. 1 hour, 6 minutes, 3 seconds.
Or find a black woman who won't fit the narrative or what a typical black woman would be from the Bronx or Harlem or some place that you found, which is incredibly difficult. So then you'll be basically eliminating 90% of partners, and then that way it's like all you're left with is people who may be exactly what you're looking for, but they might not have the looks to go what you're looking for. They might not be attracted to them, or they might be outside your race, so you can't connect with them on a certain level. Or there are situations like they're a single mom and you're not trying to have the baggage, or they're too old for you and your timelines are full. It's just too much. What is the thing where you're looking for answers and you crossing out certain answers? You know that can't be the answer. Or you just crossing them out. It ends up you end up crossing out so many of them that it's like it seems hopeless. So it's kind of like, I guess you go for someone who's less of those things, but still some of those things that you don't like, because you don't expect to see someone perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it, and I really feel like of all the ethnicities, black women are the ones to say, I'm not your mother. I'm thinking of all the stereotypes. I can't think of other races that will say to them, I'm not your mother. I feel like they are more likely to take on your mother role. I'm thinking of Spanish people or Hispanics. I'm thinking of white women. They might be like, he thinks he wants me to be his mom. Like, I don't feel like they will say that to them. They talk to their friends about it, but I don't think that's something that they would say to them. Asian women, maybe. Probably not.
I haven't been around enough cultures for me to really say.
Yeah, I gotta get out. I gotta go to Tokyo and ask.
Yes, Tokyo.
I gotta ask them. Oh yeah, and funny enough, as I'm going through my phone, I feel like I have way more black women in my phone than I do Spanish women, which I think is hilarious. Like fully Spanish, like all Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Dominican, all Puerto Rican, all Dominican, or all whatever other Hispanics races there are. I thought I had more. It's not a lot in there. 107.25.
Like I said, there has to be just kind of like a handful of things, if that you know will set you off or would be a trigger that you just have to protect. And then other than that, you would kind of work with the person. I don't think there's any reason to date outside of your race, like for any reason whatsoever. I really don't think so. I feel like people. Have you ever read any books on like pickup artists or like the game and stuff? You have?
Yeah, that's how I even started talking to girls. Like, I was watching those type of videos.
Because there's this book called The Game by Neil Strauss. I read it too. And basically, like, how do I explain it? Because you can really deal with anyone that you want to, but you just have to understand, kind of like, you said you like psychology, so like, you would just have to understand what it means when they're doing certain things, and kind of really have to get into reading body language and stuff like that, because that way you know that, like, let's say if because you said that black girls are typically more disrespectful and all that stuff, right?
Not necessarily. It's they do things. They're more masculine. But then again, they're born with more testosterone than other women. So I guess they naturally supposed to be more masculine, but I don't like that.
Are black women born with more testosterone? Can I look it up?
I'm gonna do my quick Googles.
And I'm like, I don't feel like I have mad testosterone.
I really Googled this before. We'll do a poll too. Also, do you think that black women have more testosterone? Put that here too. I don't see anything like that. But again, I haven't really done a search. I'm just trying to see if I get any headlines I can read on. These all seem to be journal type stuff, and for the sake of time, I will not be going through all of these because they're not even giving me like a hypothesis about it, and they're using words that may not necessarily relate to testosterone and things like that. They're using words like the variation in sex steroid hormone levels contributes to racial differences in the development of certain diseases. Whether differences between black and white men in circulating levels of sex steroid hormones exist has not been investigated across a wide range in a large-scale study nationally. Representative, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
we could just continue. I'm gonna call bullshit. I don't think that black women have more testosterone.
So that 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 17 seconds. Not that much left.
They naturally supposed to be more masculine, but I don't like that.
Why?
I'm just annoyed. That's great response, Melissa. Great response.
You not understand?
Wow.
Like if I say I want something,
No, I understand.
Done, and I have a logical reason behind it. I don't care that you want something done when it's illogical, just because of your emotions. I want you to give me a logical argument as well, and then I'll begin to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But oftentimes they feel like they want to be respect you as a man. You don't want to have to
Can you pause that?
remind her that you.
This is a record for the longest podcast on the Bamboo Project. My goal is to get this episode done today, so we do not have to do this again next week. I wanted to address what he just said because I feel like a thing that a lot of people need to understand when it comes to pretty much anything. I think one statement that is flawed is fake it till you make it. I don't think that that is a theory that people should follow. I think you should become what you are or become what you want to be, and everything around you will then follow up. You become it. You don't pretend to be it. So if you want to be a confident person or be perceived as a confident person, then you do what confident people do. You go out and get confidence. Now, the problem that I have with what he just said is that he feels like he has to out-masculine his woman. First of all, I don't think any man should have to use those words in a sentence in his life. I don't think there's any time a guy should be like, man, I need to out-masculine my woman. I need to out-manly my woman. You are not in competition with your woman to be a man. If you feel as though you are in competition with your woman to be a man, then my guy, in fact, you are not the man in your relationship. It's not you, because you just have to be the man. If you're sitting around your house thinking like, damn, I got to figure out how I could like be more masculine. Okay, I'm going to try this. And I don't even know what out-masculine a guy means. I don't even know what that means now I think about it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it means to try to out-masculine your woman.
Is there anything that I do that you feel like emasculates you?
All the time when I come in the house, your legs be open. I'm like, nah, I gotta spread my legs farther than hers because I'm the man in this relationship. And you know what? She gonna man spread on the bed bigger than me. I gotta learn how to do a split.
You're not flexible.
I gotta learn how to put my arms like this, my legs like this. When we get on the bed, I can sit there and be like, well, listen, I take as much space as I can because my legs can go behind my head. That's real manhood right there. Okay.
I feel like Donovan's not playing.
Listen, I'm gonna learn to split so I can sit on the bed with my legs crossed. You know, come home one day, I'm gonna have one leg on this side of the bed, I have one leg over here, and I'm like, there's no space for you. There's no space on the bed for you. My legs take up all the space. I don't know what to tell you. Out masculine. I think that it's weird because I don't call it out masculine. I think there are things that, and this is why I don't like the term masculine, because there are things that Melissa will take the lead on. For example, you might see we have a cat tree behind us because next week, by next week, my cat should be here. Kitty, who's at my mom's house, should be here. And we were building the cat tree, and it came broken, right? And Melissa, I had asked Melissa if she can help me with a problem that it's a box. The top of the box was dented in, and I was trying to figure out why it was dented in. So I asked if she could help me figure it out. And she figured it out. She had a solution for it. So I'm like, if it's your solution, then you take the lead on it because it's your solution. I'm not going to ask for your help. You come up with an idea, and I'm like, nah, let me do all this shit by myself. It's like, if I ask for your help, then I'm not gonna then try and bully you to then kind of make me the leader when it's your idea. If it's your idea, then I have no problem following because it's like, listen, that's my job. It's not my idea. I can help. What do you need me to do? You need me to get a light? You need me to hold this up? You need me to stick this in here? What you need me to do? Me to drill this? Because it's your idea. And I feel like what he may try and do, or what other guys also will try to do, is they feel like, nah, I don't want my woman to give me instructions or directions because I feel like I'm not a man. So now I have to be a man in all areas of my life, even when in this situation at this point, which is why I do not like the word masculine and feminine, is this is not a situation where I am the dominant person because Melissa has the information. I do not. So that would make me a submissive person. So I'm following her lead because she is the one who has the idea. So, and I think that a lot of guys feel as though at any point in your life you're not being the dominant one, then that makes you less of a man. And it's like, no, I think that for one, you should definitely strive to have as much information as you can and be the best that you can do. But I think there are times when your woman or other people in general will know more than you or be better than you at something. And when those times do come, you should listen and follow, because at that point you will you'll learn something, and two, there will be a time where you have to pass information to somebody else. And when you're passing on that information to someone else, you will be the dominant person in that dynamic for that time period when you are exchanging information with someone else. But that's the whole reason why I don't really like to chase power, because no matter where you are in life, somebody's more powerful than you and somebody is less powerful than you, no matter what you know. So if today, like I said, I may be more powerful at A, and then tomorrow Melissa's more powerful at what B, and then it goes back and forth. And I believe people need to understand that power is not static. It does not stay with one person forever. It goes back and forth between people. And I guess toxic men and men who don't understand this or who are very insecure, because that's the problem it comes down to. It's insecure. They feel like, okay, the second that I allow my girlfriend to feel like she has more power than me for any situation, that's it. I lost all control and now I'm a bitch. And it's like, I don't think that's how that works, bro. It's okay to allow somebody to take the lead on something that you don't have information on. I
drank my whole 1.5 liter of Fiji water while on the podcast.
That means you've been doing this podcast for way too long. That's what that means. We're at 1 hour and 10. We got 32 left.
It's almost 4 o'clock.
No logical basis for their premise. Doesn't make any sense. And then you gotta out masculine. That should be annoying.
What bullshit he said?
You just want to be a man and women
he said women are being masculine.
you as a man. You don't want to have to remind her that you're the man because she's trying to be.
So I'm gonna just say something real quick. Something that he does a lot in this is like a lot of false equivalencies and a lot of definitely a lot of false equivalencies and a lot of grouping certain things together to make it seem like the whole statement is true when it's not. And I definitely got caught up here, and I had the gall, the audacity, the freaking I said everything that he said is true, and that's where I fucked up. Because I agreed. I don't think that black women are more masculine than men, because I feel like that's what he thinks. I don't know, more masculine than him, sure. But yeah, I do not agree with everything that he said, but I got caught up. So yeah,
moving in with my boyfriend has forced me to become more logical. Because it's kind of the same thing where it's like, I'm acting based off of emotion and everything, and he's being more logical. But I had to kind of learn. That's when I started. That's why I said that the person has to really be introspective and learn what they want to change about themselves, or like learn what their vices are, because that's what I had to do. I ended up reading a lot, listening to a lot of podcasts. I started meditating. I started working out. And when I really started to work on myself and put my focus onto myself, that's when I was able to understand things in a more logical way instead of being emotional. And it allowed me to kind of like understand what he was trying to say better, because now I have more information and more things to draw from that can allow me to see the situation the same way that he does. And then come up with like a logical response back.
No, it's not.
First of all,
do you think being surrounded by other emotional people like your mother and mom and sisters would also make you stick to your ways and still be emotional? Because you're in an environment where it's only one other person, it makes you more logical because you got no one else to back you with emotion. Argument.
Yeah, I think being pretty much by myself with him definitely made a difference in that, because my mom my family was pretty manipulative, and that really like has a lot to do with emotion. And even because my mom, even moving, so I told you that I moved out with him after 4 months meeting him. So my mom was not happy with that at all. She was not happy with that. She was screaming at me. She called me every name in the book. Said I might as well just become a bus driver. Called all types of names. Bitches and hoes, all that. And like she pretended like she was having a heart attack while I was on my way to work. And my grandma was calling my phone, and my aunt was calling my phone, and they're telling me don't come to their funeral when they die, and all of this shit. And all of that is them being manipulative. All of that is them trying to get me to come back or to stay or to guilt me and make me feel like shit because I'm not doing what they want me to do.
What did they want you to do?
They didn't want me to move out. They wanted me to stay home.
Well, what did they want you to do? To pay rent there and make their life easier?
No. She just wanted me to. She didn't want me to move out.
But why? Like she wanted you to have a career first or something? Or
That's what she
career?
said. She said she wanted me to have a career first and finish school and all that stuff. But like growing up with my mom, like I because of how my mom was, I didn't go away for college, so I never had the experience of living on my own, and that in itself I feel like hindered me. So it was kind of like I'm ready to leave. Like people already left their house already and already had the experience of being on their own and finding themselves, and I never got that experience. And it was kind of like I really wanted to take that leap. And they didn't want me to do anything necessarily. They didn't want me to leave. They were very like just afraid. I guess they figured that I was probably gonna get pregnant and not be anything, not finish school and all that stuff. So yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's what's happening with my girlfriend. So she's an RN also. Both in nursing field, like she's at the nursing school, and basically, so that means that we can both do on our own technically, because the people that's even taking care of us, we're making more money than them. So us combined, let's take a look. I feel like living with her mom and her mom hinders her ability or grasp of privacy and boundaries. And that frustrates me to the point where I don't know if it'll ever change. I'm not going to make a decision that seems like it's the right thing to do, when in reality, logically, it doesn't make any sense, because if a person is showing you that they're this way, for you to make a move as important as that, and move in with them just because
that's me playing a game on
As we both are. Right?
Yeah, I don't think you should move in with anyone if you don't feel like you're ready to, or if you don't feel like it'll work.
You know what I'm saying? She has a few things because my parents are strict, or my mom is strict. So like where when you sense sometimes the decision she makes and how she can respect her mom 100%. But the decision she makes that I'm hungry. But because her mom can't argue with someone. You can't argue what I'm saying to someone's mom. That's the character for that. And they feel like that's just how the parents are supposed to be successful. My mom has been a lot of freedom to do things because I'm a man instead of a woman. But at the same time, she had, I guess, stricter parents. And so she tried to make sure that she had a better balance with her kids. And I felt the difference compared to what it could have.
That's before taxes.
I'm over her side. That's the thing. So, like, we live in together. It might not feel like, I'm living with her mom and her mom and her brothers because of the decision she made. Where, you know how, like, you want to make a decision, probably it will be you and his decision.
A week.
You hear me? It will feel like it will be my decision and her decision that she comes up with, back with the opinion of all the people that are in combined. So I don't know if I could ever escape it or if it's just because she lives in that environment. And that's the only thing. Sometimes I don't think because I hope that gets better. Sometimes once I see that, it makes you feel different. Plus, I don't really care to move in with anybody. If I could afford myself, I mean, would I really be missing anything? It's not like she can't just come over anytime. It's just that she don't live there. That's the only thing.
That's definitely a work.
But if they have potential to come over there almost every day,
Depends on the week.
That's if you work
see
40.
what the big deal is.
Depends on the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because technically, let's say you was living on your own because you're home right now, and he would just every day after work come to see you.
I think last year I did 50.
That would work out just the same. It would be almost the same thing, right?
118.43.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Because I've been working 60 hours a week, and so I've been working 12-hour shifts. Sometimes staying back a little bit extra. So I'm even barely home here. So
No.
we was living together.
No.
I mean, how much would we be living together if I was working that hard constantly?
She keeps giving him validation. She should tell him that he's wrong. No, it's not the same thing. If Melissa and I do not live together, it's literally not the same thing as living together. It's different. The sentence itself is different. Our lifestyles would be different. The plans we have would be different. Our daily goals would be different because we don't live together. The food that we eat would be different. Everything would be completely different. The only thing that would be the same is when I leave work, I see her. That's the only thing that's the same. Then do I go back to my house afterwards? And do I leave her house in the middle of the night? Does she come to my house does she ever come to my house? Do I ever go to my own house? Because every time I leave, I come here. There is no certain days that I don't come here. I come here when I get off work. It's not the same thing, but I just wanted to put that out there.
My good, that's not
Even though Melissa said it's the same thing.
necessity.
Don't hold me to what I say.
Yeah.
At this point,
I don't
I'm
like
not
this
the
one.
conversation. I'm playing a
I
game.
want to find like a nice place. That's
So we're doing that the whole conversation.
Not the whole conversation.
Get a nice spot.
Like,
That's impossible. That's impossible. And then to buy a house, possibly rent it out to people who actually pay rent consistently. That seems impossible too. If you used to buy a house affordable enough in like the Bronx or Brooklyn,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
Mhm.
So I don't even know why you
I don't
say
see how it works.
So you were looking into like buying a house and renting it out?
that. How is that impossible? When most people do that?
Yeah, I got my credit up to give me options.
I'm not paying
What I
attention
think
at
possibly.
all.
It seems like what I should do is prioritize my earning potential. The more I earn, the more money I'll be making, the more I can save, the more I can build debt, and the more I can even give back to people around. And that's probably the biggest thing. Getting a house before I increase my earning potential might actually be a burden.
Mind you,
You know,
that's
like,
not
if-
what you're supposed
like,
to do. Okay. So anyone that wants to be rich, the thing that you would do is not to prioritize your earning potential. That's not the main part of it. The thing that you need to do to become rich is making passive income. Prioritizing that should be your priority, to find a way to make passive income and slowly wean yourself off of working a 9 to 5. Because I don't think when he says maximize his earning potential, I don't think he means I think he means working more hours. You don't want to work more hours.
I think he means right. I also think he means making more money. And a good game one of my favorite games is Rich Dad Poor Dad. You can go online. What happened?
Huh.
What was that for? Hold up, teeth sucking. There's a secret.
It's not a secret. But I'm just saying you was the one that discovered it or whatever.
One of my favorite games that I discovered through Melissa reading a book that I recommended to her.
Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, I felt how I felt, and that's why whatever was said was said.
Whatever sound came out of your mouth
that's
was created.
Did I think about it before I did it? No, and that's why it happened.
Okay, so one of my favorite games is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you can go online. It's free to play, it's one of my favorite games because you can kind of test out different strategies on becoming rich and getting out of the rat race, which is working for your money. So one of the times I was playing, I tried to borrow millions of dollars, right? Because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have millions of dollars in loans, and I'm going to just buy up mad property and mad stuff, right? Now, it's funny because it didn't work. So having more money doesn't make you, I mean, you could call it wealthy or call it rich, but you are still living paycheck to paycheck. So mentally, you're still in the same spot. Yeah, let's say you were looking at me at this video right now, right? And you're watching this video, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm doing well. And then next week or next year, I have a different background, right? Everything is different. I got all this money, right? But all I did was increase the amount of money I made. So the percentage is still the same. I still spend 20% of my income, or I still spend 90% of my income on expenses. So God forbid something happens to my job, I cannot afford any of these things. And no matter how much, and I tweeted this the other day, no matter how much money you have, there's no such thing as too much money. Even Jeff Bezos can go broke. The camera's about to die. I'm gonna let it die. Even Jeff Bezos can go broke, right? Because let's say right now he's worth $135 billion. If he decided he wanted to buy Spotify, he wanted to buy Visa and PayPal, he would be broke. He would be broke.
I don't know.
Why?
Because those still generate money. He would have to buy things that don't generate money for him to go broke.
Okay, that's a good point. So if he decided, even better idea, if I told Jeff Bezos, this cup right here is worth $155 billion, and he bought it from me, right? He's broke. So at the end of the day, somebody come up with something for you to pay for to go broke. You can't have too much money, and he can do that every single day, and every day he'll be broke. But he doesn't do that, obviously, because that would be ridiculous. It's about managing your money. It's about knowing how to have money coming in without you actually working for the money. You are not putting your actual manpower, your self-manpower into making money. Because if you do that, and the more you do that, the further away you'll get from actually having financial freedom, where you don't have to worry. You can get up and do whatever you want. You can just walk around the block and come back inside and you made money just because you were alive and existed. That's it. That's my goal. I don't want to have to go and work, and I don't want my direct labor to be attached to how much money I make, because the minute I stop working, it's just a countdown of the clock of when my money's going to run out. I don't need that. I want to wake up tomorrow and have more money than I did when I went to sleep. What did I do for that money? I slept. I was sleeping. When I went to the bathroom, took a shit, oh shit, I made another $500. That's crazy. Okay, we almost done. We got another 21 minutes left of this phone call, and we will be finished. Longest podcast in the Bamboo Project history.
Yeah, nobody's gonna finish this shit.
Listen, it's not for y'all to finish. Because like I said, here's the thing. Come on, everybody know. Melissa just said nobody's gonna finish this shit. That's fine. That's perfectly fine, right? The reason why it's fine is because this is what I was just talking about having a passive income. When we're rich, things like this will be very, very valuable. People who really fuck with the brand and fuck with us will go be like, yo, they got 4 hours of content I can listen to. This is fucking amazing. I'm gonna go back and listen to that shit when Melissa was talking to the guy, and the guy was, oh my god, I was right. Like I said, I always say this. Imagine if Will Smith and Jada Pinkett had a 26-year-old version and a 22-year-old version of them on the podcast, and then this entanglement shit happened. That shit would be amazing to listen to. Because here's the thing. I don't know where my life is going to go. I have no idea. Let's just say that me and Melissa, I feel like, I don't feel that's going to happen. But if we get married and then something happens during the marriage, this could come up. And just like that, it just got another...
What do you think is not going to happen?
At first I'm going to say we're going to break up. That wasn't the right context of what I was talking about. So I didn't say that.
Okay. Because I'm like, what you mean you don't think...
Right. I don't want you to get no entanglements with no R&B singers, okay? So when in the future, people are going to come back and it'll come up again. Or I'll just do a, flashback. Here you go. Flashback. Mm-hmm. And then you could listen to this and watch this when we get into a situation or something happens in the future. Anything can happen that this is related to, it'll come back up. And I think that this is why it's important. I'm putting it out there now. The same way Netflix had a bunch of movies on there ready to go just in case you were on the platform and watching. People don't watch them shits now. I don't even know if that's true. Some people probably do watch them, but they're there. So this is here for the future. And a year from now, people will listen to this podcast 6 hours and be like, damn, I wish it was 8 hours. I wish it was 7 hours. I wish I had more time to listen to it. Like, I remember when I find a new podcast, or when I used to listen to podcasts, I would hear some good ones and be like, nah, I gotta start from the beginning. Like, I gotta find out like what they were talking about. One of the things I didn't like, which is why the podcast that we have is set up differently, is there was no real storyline to them. And I like that our podcast has a storyline because it then encouraged people to go and listen to the first one. Because every episode I talk about is an interview with somebody, there's no reason for you to listen to episode 3 or 6 if it's no relation to episode 11 or 48. You don't have to listen to it. But if you're like, wait a minute, this is the third time I was on the phone with a guy? What was the first time? Episode 16? Oh, I gotta go listen to that one because I don't know what's happening. I don't understand. They keep going referencing these old podcasts. I gotta hear the old ones because obviously I'm missing something. And then you go back to 15 and you're like, God damn, episode 3 I gotta go listen to episode 3 because he's talking about episode 3. I gotta listen, and then you keep doing that over and over and over again. And this is why I'm putting it out now for the future. So it's all about coming full circle. Turn your life into a living. We're showing you the proof first, and then we will then market it and sell to other people to show you how to do it too. So, and we are resuming at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 38 seconds.
People, let's say both of y'all was making $10 an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, and then you paying a mortgage that costs $2,500 a month, plus water bill, heat, electricity, utilities, the rest of it. And then you own a vehicle and you got maintenance with your own insurance. Wouldn't that be a burden to own the house?
Yeah. I don't think you're really supposed to buy a house to live in, really. I think the best thing to buy a house for is to rent it out.
Yeah, I'll probably rent out the first house, maybe buy a second house, and then live in that some home. So the rent or the mortgage I'm getting paid from the other person and use it towards the second house. That's more along the lines of what I was thinking about doing. I mean, I've been had money to put a down payment on a house, but I've been paying on student loans. This shit been killing me. It's really been killing me. But if I didn't have student loans, I would have had thousands and been able to just go buy a condo somewhere doing it. And within 10 years, just have it paid off. Sure.
Then you don't have money for down
Because
payment.
it costs like $200,000. If you make 6 figures,
Be wary of people that say, if I didn't have this, I would be doing that. Because, like, you have it. So what you gonna do now?
Right. Listen, if I wasn't DonivanGray, I would be Bernard King. Is that true?
I don't know. Is it? Like,
Well, we're never gonna find out, are we?
like, let me say, man, if I ain't have 3 kids and 4 baby moms, I would have been something.
Listen, if I was rich, I wouldn't be living here. But I'm not rich, so I'm living here.
All of these ifs is irrelevant. Because that's cool and all, but this is your life. So what you gonna do with your life and the cars that you have? We're at 1:22
and after 10 years, you actually pay it.
and 20 seconds.
You own it outright. And that's something I see myself doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you get a chance, you
I'm
should
really
read
playing a
12-hour
game.
Work week.
Is it one of those books where it's long for no reason, or you actually see value in reading the whole entire book?
There's value in reading the book.
In the whole book, or like specific chapters?
How
But
do
some
I
books
explain?
be very, like top heavy, still at the gym, and then as they go into the book, it seems like they just repeating themselves. Or got that?
That book is pretty well written, so it's not boring the way that like his life isn't boring. So it's an interesting read. It only gets to that feeling of being kind of like slow-ish if you're not able to apply what he's talking about in that chapter. But you could just kind of skip on to the next chapter. You could just kind of skip on to the next chapter. And the reason why I suggest it is because I feel like I don't think that I'm trying to get to a place where I don't have to physically work to make money. Because if you have to spend like your physical time to make money, it kind of like.
Yeah, I've seen when I was working 60 hours, I was like, yo, the money is good, but I was like, I would have to sustain in 60 hours by how many years? This is not right. It got to be a different way. So that's why I'm looking for other opportunities to make more money.
Yeah. And then because you work at a job that would allow you to make money faster, I think you have a better setup right now to kind of like try and start your own kind of business. Because what the 4-hour work week teaches you is how to outsource everything. So let's say you want to come up with a sports drink. It teaches like it'll give you different websites that you can go to for like different manufacturers. It'll teach you how to drop ship. Yeah.
You know what I'm already picked up? Because I didn't know where you can begin. I have so many books that change people's lives. I didn't know where to begin.
Yeah, The Alchemist is good too because that kind of teaches you about kind of honing in. Because like, have you ever heard of The Secret or read The Secret?
That's the one that looked like a Harry Potter book that got blood on it or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's about, but
that book is kind of like, it's about the universe and how the universe will conspire to give you whatever it is that you want, but not on some like magic or voodoo kind of thing. It's kind of like, how do I explain it? If you put the work in, or like there's certain opportunities that will present itself to you, but if you don't understand what's going on in that moment, you won't know that it's an opportunity for you, kind of thing. So that's what The Secret is about, and The Alchemist touches on that. Because I don't really believe after reading all those books, I think what it really tells you, what it really teaches, is that you are in control of your destiny. And a lot of people feel helpless in their situation. They feel like life just happens to them when that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, if you want to not work, if you
what I'm saying about this
126.41, huh?
Is that true what I'm saying about The Secret? Because I haven't actually.
But I don't know what you said.
I said that the opportunities will present itself to you.
That's somewhat true. Yeah. I mean, the conspire to help you is partly related to The Alchemist. You have to, once you put the work in, then opportunities will arise if you know where to look for them, or if you look out for them.
only want to work 4 hours a week, there's a way to do that. If you only want to, if you want to make money just by selling sneakers and everything like you could, like it's definitely doable. And more than just doable, like you can become rich doing it. So that's pretty much what the books collectively tell you.
So you started the podcast on YouTube after you read the book?
Did I? I've been reading a lot of books.
That would be a good story to tell.
Yeah, we have a Patreon page that we set up where the books that I read, because of the same thing that you just said, a lot of people don't want to read the books, but they know that the books would be beneficial to you. So I have like a video series that I'm working on where I'm reading all these books and then kind of just explaining it through my own experiences and telling you what the book says. So I've read like a lot of books because of that in the past year or so. So, and they all pretty much say the same thing. I read a book called The Innovation Stack by the people that own Square, which is like Cash App. I read the Big Leap, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I got that book.
Yeah.
It's a small ass book. I thought it was gonna be a bigger book.
A lot of them are actually a lot of those books that like are supposed to change your life and stuff like that.
Oh, shit. Wait, see it. Say it.
Oh, they have some type of like a discussion in the back of the book that makes the book look bigger than it actually is, but it's not. The book isn't actually that size of the amount of pages that you see. It's actually smaller than that. But it's like all the added content like that you can do, like, oh, use this for a study group. They have all that stuff in the back, so it'll be like an additional 50 pages, but that's not a part of the actual book. Like, you don't have to read that.
That's another thing I wanted to do though, was to write a book.
That you got me?
Yours died?
Huh?
Yours died?
Yeah.
Oh, mine still works. So I was like, I didn't know if they both.
Which books? Rich Dad Poor Dad has a discussion in the back. For Our Work Week has a discussion in the back. I think The Alchemist may have had like a mini reader's guide or some shit in the back. So a lot of them do.
So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it from here.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna put it on TV.
Yeah, we got 13 minutes left. Oh, my AirPod is still on.
But it's like all the added content like that you can do, like, oh, use this for a study group. They have all that stuff in the back, so it'll be like an additional 50 pages, but that's not a part of the actual book. Like, you don't have to read that.
That's another thing I wanted to do though, was to write a book.
About what?
Oh, I was
because my father had a book, but this person wrote a book about his life, but nobody knows him. So I was wondering, what is the point? But he basically was selling it or giving it to people who knew it. But I was still thinking that it was such a, it was really nice to see that he did it. And I actually like had printed copies and stuff in his own work. And I was like actually admired it. So I would like to do that myself. I would like to do something that more so not like a autobiography, but something that offers value and capacity to be a book that generates some nice income for myself. Because the thing about writing a book, you write the book, and then money comes after, and it's residual. You understand? Like all these things come out YouTube and stuff. Yeah, you make money, but you have to keep putting out videos. When you put out a book, the book is going to make the money regardless. But then again, the video does the same thing, I guess.
You guess?
But usually, like, videos have, like, a peak, and then people stop watching as much.
They don't.
I thought that too, but it don't really work like that with videos. Cause it's not like it's as long as people are searching up that topic, it'll come up in the search somehow. Or let's say that they watch another video that you put up, then they might. It's weird because I look at the analytics for the videos that we have up, and videos will have views that they didn't have before, and I posted it like last year. So like it had 0 views for like 5 months, and then people started watching it out of nowhere. So like it's kind of. It's like it keeps circulating, and I didn't really expect that to happen. Like I thought it was gonna be like, okay, I posted a video, if it doesn't go viral now, then it never will. But it doesn't. I learned it doesn't really work like that.
You gotta learn to put clickbait titles and nice thumbnails and the SEO word search so that when people start reading, they find it real quick. And I don't know what it says. I think it said if it's 10 minutes or more, you get paid more money because more ads involved. Is that true?
Yeah, but that's only if you're like monetized. So I don't really know how.
Most of your videos not monetized. They use Patreon.
Nah. I haven't used.
He does not know how YouTube works at all. He has no idea of how it works. He thinks that if you make a video, you instantly get monetized when you have videos on YouTube.
No, we haven't used Patreon for the YouTube videos because it doesn't really make sense for us to do that right now. And
Why not?
because we're still like I'm still building up my knowledge on the things that I want to post on the YouTube. Cause like I have a sewing machine, so I want to like physically like make my own clothes, and that's what I've been working on. And I've been working on like my diet and being healthy and working out. So my body isn't where I want it to be. I haven't made full outfits and stuff like that yet. It's just, and I don't feel like I have enough recipes to give people enough value for where they're gonna really be like really fucking with everything. So until I get to that point, I don't think it really makes sense for me to push.
You don't need a recipe. Instead of thinking about, let's say, a video you cooking breakfast, bacon, egg, and cheese with French toast, how to make orange juice from scratch, all together in one video. One video is French toast, next video is egg, next video is something else.
I had to pause only because I'm getting slightly annoyed because maybe because it's Melissa he's talking to. Maybe that's why. Because he's just saying stuff that I'm like, bro, what? He just said that she should make a video about, an example would be bacon, egg, and cheese. But then instead of putting it all in one video, show a video of her making bacon, egg, and then cheese separately. And I'm just like, bruh. First of all, people do stuff like that. People do things where they will split up a video that they're making. To that extent, I've never seen somebody split up the foods within one recipe. That sounds idiotic. However, the thing that annoys me the most is that he does not do anything like this. So that's what annoys me. He's not trying to do anything like this. He isn't doing anything like this. He's not planning on doing anything like this. So to be given advice on something like this, I could understand if maybe he had a YouTube channel and maybe his was either bigger or even smaller than ours. And he was like, yeah, I want to do this. Then it's a different kind of conversation because, okay, we're both on the same footing. We're having a conversation about different tactics that we may use. But for somebody to try and give advice on a topic that they don't even, are not even attempting to be in, I think that it's given with malicious intent to, again, make Melissa feel like she is inferior to him because nobody asked you for your opinion on what you think videos would be good for YouTube.
So you could search out for things. So they look like they offer more value than you are. Instead of trying to get all the value in one video, search it out. That's what people be doing. You want to find an answer for something, and then you're like, all right, watch this link for this video. Or you're going to watch something and the parts is coming. And you want to watch part 2 because you want to figure out what they were spoken with. Are you trying to put a lot into one video and make the video itself really valuable, and then you find yourself trying to recreate the same magic for the second video?
No.
No.
Huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cause
Should just said no. Left it. Nope.
Right now I have over like 100 videos up on YouTube.
That's enough.
Yeah, and it's pretty much set up the way that you said it. Where I have a recipe like this: how I make hemp milk. This how I make strawberry jam. This how I make this. How I make that. Because everything that I eat, I pretty much make myself. And I'm on a special diet, so I don't eat meat. I don't eat animal products. So that's why I have to still look for recipes because I'm still kind of new to my diet. So I'm still.
What's the name of the channel?
You're gonna have fun.
Huh?
What's the name of your
Put
channel?
it up.
The Bamboo Project.
I feel like I should. I have to edit out me walking and shit and stuff.
So yeah, I still have to look for like kind of recipes or inspiration for the kind of food that I want to make. Because my whole thing is that like I feel like people don't need to eat the wild shit. Because it's not like, how do I explain it? My whole thing is that healthy food
I think I just like talking to you.
does not taste
Yes.
bad. Like,
Yes.
that's why I don't say I'm vegan, even though technically that would be the name that most people would identify with
Yes.
the food that I eat. But I think vegan food tastes disgusting.
I already was short, but I heard okay.
Are you
And
open to
And
suggestions?
120. I weigh more than.
what would you suggest?
I could punch him and knock him out.
Yeah, I need to work on the thumbnails. But the thumbnail I really like is this one, my first mini pretty little thing, all summer 2020.
Is that the one with the squiggly line in the middle? Where you're wearing like a crop top?
The neon green sports bra, the pretty little thing all in the yellow.
Mhm.
That's like a nice thumbnail. If you have like more thumbnails like that, I feel like if someone is debating between watching a video
Wow,
with 10,000,
I didn't think of making a thumbnail like the one
that's
that
just
I made.
they'll more click on that and give you a chance. Because that'd be the deciding factor. So
Yeah.
like let's say on Facebook for example, two people are arguing, right? One person is dressed well and carrying himself nicely, and the other person look crazy or like they don't take care of themselves or like they not really educated. I don't know. Sometimes you could kind of sense that from some of the pictures you see. But who would you tend to believe when you just on a quick glimpse? When you take the side of the person who look more well put together, if it's a she said kind of thing, you don't know who's right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Did you understand what I was saying or no? I understand you.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. That's the goal. We started, because the longer you do something, the more you kind of understand about it. So when I was making the YouTube videos, I didn't realize that I should probably take a separate thumbnail photo. And then I started taking a separate thumbnail photo, and then I realized that it has to be a landscape instead of...
This is Melissa trying to show that she knows things again. It's like she wants... It's the validation. I want you to know that I know stuff. And it's like, you know that you know stuff. You don't have to show that you know stuff. And I think that I don't want people to get confused with talking about things that you know. I think when it comes from a place of trying to prove that you know something instead of actually having a conversation about it, because he's only trying to make her feel bad. So in this context, her saying this is only to make him know that she knows things about the whatever, the podcast, not the podcast, about the YouTube channel. So when she says these things, for him, that she, in her mind, or the feeling that she wants is him to go, oh, wow, you did all of that stuff? Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know you did all of that. I thought that you didn't do that much, but I realized from what you just told me that you have done so much and I was wrong. That's not going to happen, because his intention is to make her feel bad. And the more that, if she tries to make him feel bad, he's not going to give her that pound of flesh so she feels like she won. All he's going to do is pile on top of what he already said and keep going with trying to make her feel worse. Anything?
I mean, it's like what I said earlier it's like what I said earlier in the podcast, where I have to come to terms with not the amount of work that I put into my stuff. I feel like it's not that it doesn't translate, but I don't feel like there's nothing tangible from it. And that's my biggest insecurity when it comes to the things that I'm doing, is that there's nothing that you can see, to touch it, to hear it, to feel it. So people are going to keep talking to me like I don't know what I'm doing, or like I need guidance, or like I'm asking them for help even though I didn't say anything. Mm-hmm. So it's just this coming up again. And then on top of that, I don't want to be disrespectful. I need to work on my boundaries. I read a book on boundaries. It helped a bit, but obviously I need to delve deeper into how I deal with boundaries, especially when it comes to everything, family, people like this. I think the only person that I have proper boundaries with is Donovan.
Right, and that's because I don't be trying to overstep them. I'm like, I be chilling. So she's like, oh, You be chilling, Donovan? Well, let me just tiptoe around your fucking boundaries. I'm gonna jumping jack, jump rope, double judge all over your boundaries. But like, no, my mom and a guy that I don't really talk to who be wilding, I'm gonna respect his boundaries because he be, you know.
I respect your boundaries.
Maybe, I don't know. That's possible.
I do. I respect them.
So here we go. We are at 1:37:42. We have 4 minutes and 44 seconds left.
444.
Yes.
The portrait mode, and then it just kind of progresses like that the more that you do it. So my thumbnails have been coming out better than they were before. So
yeah, the pretty little thing one is nice, and the other thumbnail for the Fashion Nova jeans one.
For my
His
Photoshop
name?
guys.
All the ones that are sexually appealing, it seems that he probably likes.
His thumbnail look boring as hell because the green, I don't know, it's just boring. And the background is like green and white. He needed something a little bit more vibrant. So for someone they want to click on the video, because I don't know, getting into the video is the most important thing. And then what's going to keep them there is the content in the video. But you want to attract the person to the thing first. Because another thing, social proof is a big thing. So you're already going to struggle because you barely have subscribers and likes and comments. So you want to give them a reason to at least come to your channel so that when you get enough, like it's almost like you're going to struggle, and then the moment you actually start to pick up steam, it's going to be, you're going to be on a streak because people already seen that you're successful, so they want to jump on the bandwagon. Same with Instagram, like if you got 10K followers, people are more likely to follow you. But if you only got like 200 followers, they might think twice before following because they're wondering what else is following. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like I said before, my whole thing is really so YouTube isn't the main focus. It's just where we post our videos. But that doesn't mean that we're not putting energy and effort into it. So basically, like I said, I want people to come to the channel for me, not necessarily for my videos. Like they're gonna be like, wow, because they're gonna see me, and they're gonna be like, how did Melissa get to this point? And then that's when they're gonna go to the YouTube and then see the videos, and I feel like that's when things are gonna take off. So that's why my main focus is. I'm still putting up the videos because I guess it's kind of like a documentary, but my main focus is getting my body to a certain weight, getting the marks off my face, like just making me the best person I could possibly be. So then when people see me on the street and stuff, they'll follow me on Instagram. Then it'll kind of just like, everything will come together around the same time. So I'm looking forward to that, but that's basically like the route that we're taking.
Okay. This is mad difficult. But sometimes it feels like, you ever felt like you was trying to do something where you felt like it was productive or like potential in it, but you felt like it was a bit too late to the party? That ever happened?
Yeah, it happens all the time, but it's just like, if I get caught up on whether or not I'm late to something, or it'll stop me from ever starting. And I think that if I get caught up on the fact like, damn, I don't have followers, or damn, nobody's subscribing, or I suck at this, that fucks with me for a good minute, and then you just kind of get over it because you start to enjoy it and you start to learn little things, and that's pretty much how you get over it. Because when I told my mom and my grandma that I wanted to start making my own clothes, like sewing and stuff, my grandma basically laughed at me. It was just like, it don't make no sense, blah, blah, blah. But yet, every time I go to the house, they give me something to fix for them. So it's people, you just kind of just get over it. Because at the end of the day, if you just do what makes you happy, then you're doing what, like, you'll be happy.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. But it was nice talking to you. I actually have to go.
14, 15,
All right, later.
10. Hang up mad fast. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We made it to the end of the fucking audio. Oh my god! Like I said, I wanted to get this done because I did not want this to spill over into next week. This is gonna be a very interesting podcast in terms of how it's edited and whatnot. So you can find all of our Instagrams in the description, and I will say you will find all the project Instagram in the description on YouTube and on whatever platform you're listening to this on. My name is DonivanGray. That is the same thing for my Instagram and my Twitter, DonivanGray. My beautiful girlfriend, Melissa, her Instagram is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. For the people who are listening to this podcast, you can find our YouTube channel, The Bamboo Project, where you see the different kind of foods that we eat. You see us working out in the gym. You can see Melissa... She has different vlogs. We have different travel vlogs. We went to Italy. We visited Rome. We visited Venice. We visited a couple other cities in Italy. You can see that. And a lot of how our life has been since we started our YouTube channel. So, if you made it to the end, you are a real one. I fuck with you because this is long. And like I said, it will be very valuable. It will be way more valuable than it is now in the future. And like I said earlier in the podcast, there is another bonus content for this video, which is even funnier because that means that the podcast audio for this week will be almost 5 hours long, 5 to 6 hours long worth of content for you to listen to. You will hear me talk to this man on the phone because he was supposed to come to the podcast today. I asked him and he said he was going to come. After our conversation, he changed his mind. After our conversation, he actually said he probably would still come. But then we called him to double check to confirm whether or not he was going to come. And he did not come. He did not show up. He said, what was his reason? Can you pull that up, his reason? This is the reason why he said he's not going to come to the podcast. Melissa said, are you doing the podcast? He said, nah, not anymore. Y'all are not to be trusted, ... Y'all probably recording everything from the moment I walk in and gonna place a tracking device